Yeah, I'm looking at like I'm on the ESPN morning show. Except for Charles Barkley and Kenny
Check
Johnson.
1, 2. You guys like that background music? You guys can't hear the background music, but I'm grooving right now.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Yeah. It's this platform that I'm using. It's called Restream, right? Restream allows me to do a live broadcast and makes it look like it's like a TV show or something, right? With the Morning Buzz logo up here and then the title sequence down there. But now they're offering like canned music, and so the music that you're listening to in the background is the pop.
Mhm.
And so we could change it up. We can do I'll do hip hop now. Let's see here. Hip hop's kind of mellow though. And you guys, you'd have to pull it up on Facebook and listen to it at delay so you can hear what it sounds like.
Yeah,
We need a speaker. That's the next thing. I got to figure out a speaker system. So, good morning. It's the Morning Buzz. It's the Tuesday, May 18th edition of the show. We are live. Don't tell anybody, but I'm in Atascadero right now. I'm breaking my rules left and right these days. Here at the Mercantile at Irish Oaks Ranch. This is the store that we've been talking about every single Friday with Matt and Melissa. And so we are broadcasting live from here this morning. We thought we'd mix it up this week. Matt had a schedule change, and so he's available. And we said, let's do this thing. So we are here in the store. We've got people coming in. Good morning.
Good morning.
How's it going?
Good.
Good. We're drinking the Irish Oaks Ranch coffee. Let's see. It's called Morning Chores. Matt Garrett is the proprietor or owner or whatever you want to call it. One of the founders of Irish Oaks Ranch. And him and his family have started this brand called Irish Oaks Ranch. They do like super farm fresh meats and foods, and then they have a line of soaps and lotions and candles and you name it. But it's like real handmade family like love poured into all of these products. And so the latest endeavor they have is this store called the Mercantile here in Atascadero. So we are going to be here all morning from 7 to 9 talking about all things Irish Oaks Ranch. We've got a couple guests coming on today from Harvestly, right? Harvestly is a food startup started by some Cal Poly kids that it's basically like this is probably me butchering what Harvestly is, but it's an online ordering service where you can basically go on and put in an order for stuff that's locally grown and sourced, whether it's meat or fruit or veggies or nuts or you name it, but all local stuff delivered straight to your door. So it's harvestly.co is the name of the company. And so we'll have a couple people from Harvestly on this morning. We also have a fundraiser happening tonight in an effort to continue to raise money for Detective Luca Benedetti, the Central Coast Crushers, as well as the Heavenly Home there in Paso. They've joined together to do this the fundraiser that's going to. I'm pulling up the information. Bear with me. It is a Heavenly Home Paso.com. And the Central Coast Crushers, they are going to be putting on a drive-through barbecue from 5 to 7 tonight over in Paso off of Union Road. We'll talk with them this morning, get a little more information about that. And who else? Principal Aston from Templeton High School will be in at 8:30. And of course, as always, got Anthony over here. He's joining us in-house. Then you should stand up next to me in front of the camera right now and just to show people how tall you are compared to me. Well, like we've been talking about this. Let's go over here. Let me borrow this real quick. Sorry. All right, now I've been talking about how tall Anthony is. Literally, he's at least a foot and a half taller than me. He's a monster. So there's a good visual. Something in the water, I guess, in Paso. So
Well, it's like what my dad always says. He says, if I'm not telling this, he says that I get it from the cable guy. So,
yeah, there you go.
whatever that means.
And the other guy that you saw in here earlier was Matt Garrett. Matt's over there talking. So we're going to get into it today. Let me get this music off. It's super distracting. These guys can't hear it. So. Oh, I just watched the replay. I'm on a delay. I just watched the replay of me and you. You're way taller than me. All right, Matt. So retail, is it all it's cracked up to be?
It's an interesting endeavor, that's for sure. It's something that we're not used to whatsoever. So, but like anything, it's a challenge presented of life, and you just kind of grow with it. So we have been pleasantly surprised, but I think one of the things that that's been huge was the community outpouring.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, growing up here, guys like you pushing our name and everything else. Everybody's come out to support us. But the other crazy thing about having a shop right at the end of a pandemic was it was like people were emerging from their houses for a year and they just wanted to get out and shop. So that was pretty cool. So I should say they wanted to shop somewhere other than Amazon and Costco.
Right. Well, yeah, and I guess we'll get into kind of the birth of the store a little later and talk more in depth, and it starts with you guys really opening this out of necessity to have a space where you can continue to make kind of mass produce, for lack of a better term, your kid's sweatshop,
Right.
mass produce their products. And so you found in the pandemic retail space to be pretty, I guess, widely available at a reasonable rate.
Yeah. And it was crazy when we were in the search, how many places that were corporately managed didn't actually even call me back. So we were happy to find this place because it was owned by a gentleman that's owned it since the 80s. And he was willing to just jump at the opportunity of getting a new shop in here. So it was cool.
Yeah, and he's a pretty hands-on owner. I know I came by a couple times while you guys were setting up, and he was in here like helping you guys.
That's right. Yeah. So yeah, Don Messer is his name. He owns a good portion of Atascadero, I'd say.
Yeah.
But it's not through luck that he did that. He stops by our shop every day just for 5 minutes just to see if we need anything. When we were remodeling this place, now mind you, he's 83 years old.
Wow.
And he was in here pulling out carpet with us, So to say he's a hands-on landlord is true to it.
Yeah. Well, that's somebody that you want to. Obviously, he's a good businessman. He's taking care of his customer, and now you're like indebted to him, and you're like, okay, we got to do this for Don.
Well, no, it was actually pretty cool too because he had an additional 3,000 square feet open up, and I just happened to know somebody wanting to move in there. So it's just when the community comes together through small business.
Yeah.
We strive, we cheerlead for each other, and we make things work.
That's awesome. Well, good. Yeah, and we'll dive into that for a little later as we get into the show more. But I always like to open the show and talk a little bit, personal stuff and just kind of recap the day before and everything. And so I wanted to just call to everybody's attention that Matt and his family actually went out hiking with me yesterday. And it was nice because typically I'm AirPods in, I'm on a mission. I've got my water jug. I've got 48 minutes to get up and down the mountain. I know exactly like what steps I'm going to take where, and I know that typically I'll have like a Rich Roll podcast on, which is a 2 or 3 hour interview about some like crazy ultra marathoner or some like extreme bow hunting whatever, right? Good morning, Mark and Shelly. Hi, how are you guys? Thanks for joining us. So typically I'll have like my podcast going, but it was nice to actually have human interaction during the hike yesterday. And so, your Owen, your 12-year-old, is he 12? 11?
Yeah, he's 11. Yeah, correct.
He probably ran up and down the mountain about 6 times in the time that we did it once.
Right.
Yeah, that guy's a machine. So, Tascadero High School, you should be doing some heavy recruiting right now for your cross country team. That kid's got some endurance for sure. So how do you feel?
I felt really good. Besides being a little dehydrated, entering into the fire service 20 plus years ago, I used to do that stuff daily. But through injuries and just life, I've gotten lazy. And kind of watching you on your journey, it's remotivated me to kind of get after it again. And so yesterday was the first step, literally, and it was fun. It was humbling, but I survived. I was actually able to somewhat hold a conversation with you,
Right.
although winded,
Yeah.
going up the hill. So,
Well, yeah, I mean, for me, it was weird. So, a lot of people don't know this, but I shut my business down at the end of the year after 5+ years of just chaos and madness and stress and everything, right? And I've watched my health kind of steadily decline to a spot where in late October, early November, I started getting nosebleeds every single day. And I couldn't get these nosebleeds to stop. And I finally went and took my blood pressure, and it was 180 over 140, which, my family has a pretty long, extensive history of high blood pressure on one side of the family anyways. And my mom's one of 9, and sorry, Mom, if I'm getting a little too personal with the family story here, but my mom's one of 9, and out of the 9, there's like 6 of them that are on some type of medication for blood pressure. And so I called my buddy Mick Labens, who's a doctor in Templeton, goes to church with us. I haven't been to the doctor in probably 20 years. And I was supposed to this is right around Christmas time now. I'm supposed to get on a flight with Abby to go out to Nashville to check out the school. My nose has been bleeding now for well over a month. And, I'm feeling terrible. My business is just completely plummeting, and it's just a disaster. And I've got these headaches happening. And so I'm 30 pounds plus overweight at this point. And just, stresses of everything at once. I called Mick and I said, Mick, I need to know, can I get on a plane without my head exploding? Like, I don't want my daughter to have to wheel me off in a gurney when we land in Nashville, just, and he's like, okay, well, here's what you need to do. You need to take some blood tests. You need to just kind of regulate your diet for a minute, change your exercise routine. And I had been exercising pretty regularly for the last 3 years. But what I did was, in addition to getting stronger, my diet got worse, right?
Sure.
And so, and then, compound that with the fact that you're running a high stress business in a fast paced environment with lots of financial issues, right? You've got beer and wine in the Mecca readily available to you at any given time. It just snowballs, right? And so, a 6-pack of IPA and a bottle of wine and 4 hours sleep is not a recipe for a long, sustainable, healthy lifestyle. And so I made a decision. And so my point is, I decided, okay, the business, I've got to shut it down. I'm going to kill myself. My marriage is suffering. My health is suffering, all of it, right? What am I doing this for? And so January, February, March, with 3 months where I was just doing a physical reset. I did no alcohol in January to just kind of clear my head. February and March, I started really trying to figure out, what motivates me and what drives me on a personal level. Like, where do I get my, what gets me up in the morning and what drives me, right? And what I came to, obviously, was music and being in front of a microphone and building community and telling stories. And so I started to kind of redesign what my life would look like in that regard. And in regards to the physical and the health, mid-March, late March, I'm still not ready to make that decision, to make that jump, to just kind of like reset, physically. And a friend of mine, Amanda, who we have on every week to check in, right? But Amanda says, I'm doing the 75-day challenge. I start on, I think she was going to start on a Monday. Who's with me? And she posted it on Instagram. And it's not like we even hang out a lot, right?
Right. Yeah.
Her daughter and my son date each other. And so we all know each other and we have, interactions, but it's not like we're like broing out, and
Right.
like,
Yeah.
eating lunch and dinner together. All that. Like we're just Facebook friends, and through the community and the school and the kids, we've become friends, right? The families. And so, she posted that, and I just thought to myself, you know what? I'm never going to be ready. I don't know what I'm waiting for.
Right.
Like I just need something, right? And this thing is something that's measurable. I can track it one day at a time. It gives me a specific thing to do and accomplish every single day. And let's just go one day at a time. And so she's like, I'm starting on Monday. And I forget, I was like Monday, March 31st or Monday, or April 1st, one of the days. And then like the Thursday before, she's like, oh, I lied. I started today. And so she started early. And I'm like, I've already planned out my weekend. Like, oh, I know I'm going wine tasting on this day, and
Right.
I've got to meet somebody for drinks on this day. So like, I'm going off Saturday and Sunday are like these crazy social things happening that I don't want to deviate from that to start this. And then, so mentally, I'm like, okay, I have to start on Monday. I told myself I'm going to start on Monday. Let's go. And so, yeah, Monday I did it at 203 pounds. Monday was like, what was Monday? Let me see here. This makes for really good live stream when you're staring at your phone. March 29th, that's what it was. It was
Okay.
Monday, March 29th at 203 pounds.
Wow.
Today is officially day 50. I'm at 173 pounds. What is that? That's 30 pounds, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So 2 45-minute workouts a day. One of them has to be outdoors, which I've been trying to do both of them outdoors if I could, because it's just an amazing time of year here,
Well,
right?
not to mention we live in the best place in the world. So
Totally.
it's- yeah.
Yeah. So a gallon of water, and then changing your diet. Now I've chosen, because I'm like a on or off type guy,
Sure.
like zero alcohol, right? And actually zero alcohol in the thing that I'm doing, but some people are like, drink wine, it's okay.
It's good for the soul.
Yeah, I'm an on or off guy. There's no in between with me, which is probably what's going to be the
Sure,
thing
yeah.
that kills me. But so no dairy, no sugar, no gluten, no alcohol. 2 workouts a day, 1 gallon of water a day, and reading 10 pages of any book. Like,
Gotcha.
and it's supposed to be like a self-development type book, but I read a book about music in Nashville. To me, I'm a musician. I'm like, yeah, it's self-development.
Well, no, I
Screw
mean,
it.
it's absolutely self-development, and then not to mention it broadens your horizons on stuff. And
Mm,
and I think you brought up some pretty important things in there, because as part of the fire department, we deal with a lot of medical stuff, 90% of our calls, right? And I just have to ask you, do you think a doctor would have recommended the 75-day challenge
No.
over starting you on some blood pressure meds?
So I love Mick Labens to death, and I probably shouldn't have said his name, but I did. Sorry, Mick.
But Mick actually sounded like he was a good doctor.
Mick's amazing.
That said, hey, I'm going to
Mick's
do this in
amazing,
your
but
best interest.
he's a realist, and he actually said, look, I hate to burst your bubble, but you're probably going to end up on medication at some point in
Sure.
your life. So
Yeah.
just know that that's kind of the path that I see. And, to me, I'm like, that doesn't.
It's kind of the easy way out. And I think as Americans, we look for the easy way out. But I think one of the cool things between the internet, social media, everything else is that We share stories with one another, and we find there's that balance is more important than meds, and socialization is more important than everything else. So I'm stoked for you because I can see the difference. I mean, you and I have been friends since forever, and
5th grade, 6th grade, yeah,
exactly, yeah, and to watch you with your business, dude, I was so stoked for your business, and you were kicking butt. But the balance wasn't there. Even though you were working out, I'm like, man, this guy's burning at both ends.
Yeah,
like, something's gonna give. And but yeah, I mean, it seems like you found a pretty awesome balance that's kind of working for you. So that's cool.
Well, I'm still trying to figure out how to make money, but that'll come, right?
But at the end of the day, I mean, what good's the money if you're dead?
Yeah,
right?
No, exactly. And so the mental thing, right? Not being ready, but doing it anyways. That's the key. Like knowing you're not ready, but still taking action is like unbelievable. Like that. And every single day, like, I know that I've got 8 million things I have to get done. I know that my wife needs me here. My kids need me there, this, that. You still have to just take action and do what you need to do to fix yourself, right?
Absolutely. It's called prioritize and execute, right? And so
is this your landlord pulling up?
Yeah, that's my landlord.
Is it
right
really?
There, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, he's actually collecting the trash right now. So,
perfect.
Yeah, the only millionaire that collects the trash on his own stuff.
The only millionaire that buys used trucks from Caltrans. Well, probably not the only millionaire that does that, right? Yeah.
You know what? I think some lessons can be learned, right?
Totally.
He doesn't give away his money, so that's. But you're absolutely right. There's so much to do in a day, and you just kind of prioritize those things, and as long as you put your health and family as number one priority, I mean that's kind of huge. So.
Yeah. So I guess the point is just you're never ready. Take action, and then the other thing is just flood your system with positivity and motivation in the form of books and podcasts and people you hang out with and healthy foods and all of it. Like just flood your system, right? And so that's what I'm doing. I'm in day 50 of flooding my system with all those things, and we'll see where it goes. I've got a road trip that I'm taking, which I'm taking this show on the road. I'm actually leaving on May 28th, Friday, May 28th. I'm heading out to Nashville. My brother-in-law and sister-in-law are moving out there, and so they've hired me to drive their motorhome out to Nashville, which I'm super stoked about. And so I'm going to pack my guitar, my live stream equipment, and then as of last night, we confirmed that I think my daughter's going to come with us, Abby. And so we're just going to hit the road. We're going to take 5 days to get out there, and then we're going to write music every day. We're going to do this show from the road. We're going to meet people along the way. We're going to vlog it. It's just going to be a father-daughter kind of pilgrimage to Nashville. Awesome. Super excited about that. So also in having to drive 500 miles a day in a motorhome, I've got to figure out when to work out twice, right? That's the other side of it. But I have to do it.
The great news is you can run anywhere, right?
Yeah.
And so, I mean,
totally
running, push-ups, burpees, all those things. Those are all awesome, awesome exercises that you can take on the road with you.
Yeah. My next thing though, you said push-ups. My next thing is, so Noel, my son, wanted to play baseball. He hadn't played in like 6 years. Last February, pre-pandemic, he's like, Dad, let's throw the ball. And I'm like, I used to be a pitcher. I'm throwing the ball with you, no problem. Crack something, like literally, what are we, 16 months out from that? My shoulder still hurts. I still can't. Yeah. So I've been nursing it.
Do the elevated push-ups. I have a torn rotator cuff that I've been nursing along as well. And, something's better. It's the cardio for me has sucked, but at least I've been still doing the strength training a little bit. I couldn't do push-ups, but the elevated push-ups seem to help. So
okay,
I'll be your personal trainer for
no, I appreciate that. All right, so who do we have on the show this morning? You lined up some awesome guests for us.
Yeah. So basically, I've been briefly talking about Harvestly.co, which is who we have just recently entered into kind of an agreement with to fulfill our meats and soaps throughout San Luis Obispo County. It's a great startup. I latched onto these guys immediately when I heard their story. So I'm bringing in the CEO of Harvestly, and we're going to talk to Walter. And then in addition, to tie it in with kind of the Templeton theme,
I've got their website here on
Okay.
on the thing.
Perfect.
So
and Walter, he could talk all about it. And the thing I like about their website is you can actually see people order stuff, and you're like, dang, this place is legit. This is this is the real deal. So and then we also have Gaba Rossi, who's the lead farmer down at Grandpa Rossi's farm.
Okay.
And a lot of the Templeton folks would recognize the Rossi name. And her husband is the grandson of the original dairy owner and all that sort of stuff.
got it.
She's going to talk about what she does. Great family farm. She's doing some awesome things with holistic ag, regenerative ag, no-till that she can talk about. So yeah, we love that.
Okay. And pronounce her first name, Gaba.
Gaba,
Gaba.
yeah,
Gabba.
correct.
Okay. Perfect. And is that that's an Italian name? No. Oh, is Gaba short for Gabrielle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Rossi is.
How come I get Mike? Like
dude, I got Max.
Michael. Mike is short. That's like vanilla.
So
I want a Gaba.
it's not too late. You're making change every day. So
Dude.
why not just
Mike.
Mike,
Matt.
I know,
Like,
yeah.
dude, can we be any more white kid from the 70s?
I know.
This is like the worst,
I was
right?
originally supposed to be named Patrick, because my mom is big time Irish, and so my granddad was like, "Hey, we need to name him Patrick," and actually my middle name is McLean, right? So that kind of, but
See how we shifted the conversation immediately back to us?
I know.
Like, it's just-
We are so losing losing in
Yeah.
life. Hey,
All right,
look at us.
real quick, let's invite. Who do we want to invite in first?
Let's go ahead and have Walter come in
Okay.
because Walter, he's a business guy, and today is day where orders are coming in, and I know Walter needs to oversee this. So I'm going to welcome in Walter.
So we'll get Walter in here, and while he's getting into the seat, real quick, Anthony, we're going to have you get Walter your seat. But before you go, tell us, is there anything going on in and around the North County? Anthony Reed runs the Facebook page, Paso Robles Incidents and Actions. It's got over 6,000 followers that depend on him to give them all of the latest information and things happening in the North County. I know we had some kind of overturned truck on 46 East this morning. What else going on? Anything?
Not much. I don't have any information on that particularly. Nothing major today. It's cloudy. It's gloomy. It's been that way for the past, I would say, week and a half.
Yeah.
So yeah, just and the fog, it kind of burns off around 10 or 11. So much over that of this morning, much like that overturned truck on the 46 East somewhere. I'll look into that as well. But yeah, nothing major, no major stories.
Any rain in the forecast?
They're not talking about it. They're just saying it's just gloomy. So it's kind of just up in the air.
Farmers always want rain.
All that. So
Well, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
2021. We just make it rain now in like a box, a refrigerated box with like fake rain. Isn't that how we're doing it these days?
I think the technology's there, but when you say make it rain, something else came to mind.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I was like, yeah.
All right. Okay. Good news. Find out more about that arrest up in Heritage Ranch with the 7-month-old girl who died. That's tragedy. But we can report on that here at the end of the hour. Mr. Mack's going to jump in real quick and give us a Templeton High School ASB update and activities update. And then Walter will take your place, Anthony.
that sounds good.
All right. Yo, what's happening?
Hey, how are you, Mike?
I'm great. Did you know that we're broadcasting live from Atascadero?
Wow.
Yeah, don't tell anybody that I'm in Atascadero, but
Hey, this is the best, gotta say, this is the best, clearest on the road program that you've had thus far. So well done.
third time's a charm, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
that was one of the qualifications. I asked Matt, like, okay, what's the Wi-Fi situation? And he's like, no, we've got super high speed internet, so let's roll.
Yeah, you look great.
Thanks. So do you.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's Tuesday, and you're busy, I'm sure.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Well, in terms of sports, we got CIF first round soccer today, and swim prelims. So, guys, soccer at home against Selma, and this is you win, you stay in; you lose, you're out.
Okay, and that's at home at 4:30.
Yeah, we are. We're facing off. I'm not sure. Is it 4:30?
I don't know. I just made that up. I don't know if it's 4:30.
I was sensing that you made that up. The official start time in reality is 6 o'clock. So
is it really
6 o'clock? CIF, yes, sir.
Okay. 6
and
o'clock.
A little comparison between Selma and Templeton. Selma's 7-5-1 on the season. We are 9-1-2. They were 6-3 in league. We were 9-1-2 in league. We haven't played these guys this year, and we don't have any common opponents, so we don't know about that. We are 5-0-1 at home, so that's a good thing. The game is at home. We are ranked second in the division. They are we are third in the section, and they are 16th in the section. The latest polls came out.
You're just full of stats this morning.
I know. I just got it. We are, for some reason, we dropped 11 spots in the California poll. So we're now at 201, where Selma is 599.
Okay. Wow.
So anyways.
So here's a question for you. Since I grew up in the North County and we didn't really play soccer, when the game starts, do they call it a kickoff?
Sure. As far as you know.
You don't know, huh?
I don't really know.
Did you play soccer? Yeah. I knew you played soccer. Walter looks like a soccer guy.
Totally.
All right.
Not very much. But,
Yeah. Okay. So it's
Yeah.
called we've got a Cal Poly guy in here who's a startup, a CEO for a company called Harvestly, and he just happened to say yes, it is called a kickoff.
There you go. All right.
Yeah.
So we got that going on. We got swim in league prelims. And
Okay.
as you're pulling up right there, you got results from track from Saturday's meet at Santa Maria. That was a 4-team meet.
Who's this in the middle? Is that Berna?
That is Berna.
He just looks like he's going to kill people.
He does. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he nice to see him out on the track again. And if you scroll down, you'll see some of the results of how people did.
Let's see here. Okay. There we go.
There you go.
Hayden Swift, first place. Josh Berna, second place. Personal record, though. Good for him.
Yeah.
Chase Richards got second in the shot put. Okay.
Yeah, that's him up above there.
Yep.
That's throwing the discus, though. Of course, you knew that, but
And he's still got the mullet flowing. I love it. You know, a lot of kids have gone post mullet. They've shaved it off, but he's keeping it real.
yeah.
Cool. Okay, and then the discus, 133 feet. Wow. First place. Good for him. Kyle Asplund, first place. Luke, second. Beautiful.
Yeah, those Asplins have some hops.
All right. All right, so wow, more results.
Yeah, those girls down below.
All right, so if you guys are wondering what Mr. Mack and I are looking at, Mr. Mack basically leaves the dinner table, says goodnight to his family, and then retires to his study where he builds this daily newsletter for all the Templeton Eagles sports fans. And so if you'd like to get on the distribution list, all you have to do is email him at mmcfarland@templetonusd.com.
Yeah, Mike, I would love if I was doing it the night
You wake
before.
up.
but it's really at like 4.
Bad Wi.
It's like 4 a.m. I'm putting that together, so I wish I was doing it the night before.
I think your Wi-Fi. I think it's his. It's Templeton High School.
Everybody's logged in this morning.
Mike, you hear me?
There's us. Are you there?
I'm here. Are you there?
Yeah, we had it's a Tascadero. What can I say?
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That was
I
a
know.
shot right there.
I know. Let's put on some music in the background for your update.
There you go. Hey, and Mike, if we're pulling away from sports, we got kids taking the AP test. We also have tomorrow is the Makers Fair, so
Yeah.
super excited about that.
Diodati, I have him on my list. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get him. Am I?
Well, I don't know. It's tomorrow though, so it's going to have to be tomorrow morning. I'm guessing.
Do I need to go broadcast live from the high school Makers Fair tomorrow?
No, the guy's really good on
sounds like
email.
it.
So if you email him the link, it'll probably be fine.
It's MDIODATI.
Yeah, it's Jason though, so you need the J at the beginning, buddy.
J Diodati. Okay. Who's
Yeah.
M? Oh, M is Mr. That's where I got the M. Speaking
There
of
you go.
names, we have a girl named Gaba coming in. Isn't that a cool name?
That is a cool name.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just mad that my parents named me Michael. It's just
Wow.
kind of a plain name. Well, you're Matt too. You know how it is.
Yeah, I got a brother named Mike, and I got a brother named Mark.
Mike, Mark, and Matt.
That's right.
It's the triple M.
Yeah, it is. Hey, so Mike, just a couple other things before I vanish from here. Tomorrow we have varsity girls softball senior night, as well as girls soccer will be kicking off in their CIF round against Reedley.
And
So-
Reedley's out in the valley too, right? That's one of those farm towns.
I believe so. And just so you know, that is probably unless there's some upsets. So you probably know this, Mike, because you know everything. But for
Yes.
those who don't, in CIF playoffs, you get to host as long as you have the lower seeds or the better seed. So our guys are seeded 3, I think. And with that, unless they play the 1 or 2, we're going to be playing a home game. But the girls, on the other hand, they are, let me make sure of this. They are right now seeded 6th in the division. And they will, so chances are this might be our only home game.
Oh,
So
okay.
just throwing that out there. So we are, our girls are good on the road. They're good at home. You know, either way, doesn't matter. But
So we need to get out and support.
yeah, you know, I mean, we like it when they're
What
we
are
like
the current
it, but
the current guidelines are allowing us to get out there? Do we know?
that would be a Coach Farley question. I'm not sure, and I would definitely not say without asking him first.
Okay. Cynthia says boys soccer 2nd seed.
Oh, okay. So there you
thanks,
go.
Cynthia. There you go.
Yeah,
Division 11.
That's what I thought. But then when you look on Max Preps, who isn't always reliable, they had him at 3rd this morning. So we'll go with 2nd. That's better.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, cool. All right. We wish the boys soccer team the best of luck. We hope from kickoff until, what do they call it when the game ends? Just
The final horn.
the final horn.
I don't know. There is a
Always
horn that ends the game. So
dominate.
until time expires.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. So what else is going on?
So next week, scholarship night. The week
Okay.
after that, we have Evening for the Stars.
Yep.
And the week after that is graduation. So it is a fun-filled, packed weeks of activities taking place.
Look at this. We have our countdown to Templeton High School graduation on screen. 24 days, 37 minutes, and 9 seconds.
Yeah, and that's you count the not
Oh,
the
wait. I
preferred
just
way.
refreshed it. Sorry.
Yeah, the preferred way that the students like counting it is without weekends because the number's a lot lower.
Got it. Okay.
So if you take out the holiday and the weekends, you know, that's a lot closer than it looks.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we also got the senior slideshow that's being put together even now.
Oh, man. I am so pumped about that. And just so you know, like, I know in the past the slideshow's been like 70 to 90 minutes long. I think this is going to be one. And last year, you know, you watched the slideshow and then it went to repeat because the thing that you were watching it at was longer. There's no repeat here. It's going to be like a 4-hour kind of odyssey where, yeah, it's just going to be, I mean, you're going to know how much every senior weighed at birth. Like that's how much detail is going to go into this senior slideshow. Yeah. No, probably not that much, but.
Okay. Have you been getting a lot of pictures?
My inbox is flooded with pictures and video and I mean, you name it. Like, yeah, I'm so pumped. But, you know, we extended the deadline. I know I said I wanted the deadline to be last Friday. But you know how parents are, right? I wanted to give them some kind of like false deadline.
Yes.
So that they would scramble and get everything in at the deadline. Well, I'm saying, look, if you get it to me before the 30th, it's going to be okay. But that is like my one of my initiatives on my road trip when I head back out to Nashville is when I'm not driving, I'm editing. So that's kind of what I'm going to be doing.
I love it. As long as you're not doing them at the same time.
No. I've done that in the past. It doesn't work out well.
No. Hey, Mike, I know in years past, and I always kind of like this, but you know, you're doing it so you can do it any way you want. Are you listing what the kids are doing next?
I am not currently, but I would love to. So I don't know how we can collect that data for all 200 kids. And there are some kids that might not know what they're doing next, but that's okay too, right?
Right.
We could say what they want to do next.
Yeah, well, we could probably try to rally that stuff up. If we knew which kids you had, we could probably, you know, track them down, figure out what college or business or military branch they're planning on going into, and then what they aspire to major in or whatever. That we could probably do that if we knew the list of kids.
Yeah, I'd love that.
Okay. Well, maybe send the list of the kids that you have our way, and we'll start compiling for you.
Okay.
Hey, Mike, I'm going to take off because it's 7:45, and you've got bigger and better people to talk to.
Not well. I mean, come on. We're all unique individuals.
All right, bud. Hey, have a great Tuesday.
Hey, you too. We'll talk to you.
All righty, see
you. Bye. All right, Matt McFarland, Activities Director and ASB Advisor for Templeton High School, joins us every day at 7:30. So super grateful for his contribution to the show. And then, you know, just everything that he does for our students on a daily basis. We are just thankful. Matt, this coffee was so good. I'm out of it.
Which one was that? The morning?
I think it was the Morning Chores.
Cool. Yeah.
You got like a little single deal?
I do. Yeah. We like to make each one fresh.
Okay. Here, you run the show.
No, I got you.
You type, and I'll get the. Oh, you got the coffee? Okay, cool.
Who is the former barista here?
I am. Yeah. Walter, I'd like to get a caption up with your name. What's your last name?
Lafke, L-A-F, and Frank, K-Y.
L-A-F-K-Y. Lafke. CEO of Harvestly?
Founder.
Okay, founder. Harvestly. .co. See here. Oh, it's so official now. I hope it looks okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Looks good.
Awesome. I'm going to turn your mic up so you don't have to get super close. Let's get a mic check.
Can you hear me?
Oh, perfect. Good
Cool.
deal. So I'm going to break every single rule during this interview because I'm not a professional. How old are you?
I am 21.
You're 21. Okay. And where are you from?
I'm originally from Bend, Oregon.
Bend, Oregon. Okay. And so Bend is Southern Oregon?
It's really Central Oregon. It's right in the middle.
Okay. My dad lives in Salem. Is that anywhere near?
Yeah, it's like 2.5 hours
Okay.
from
I went to Sac State. I drove from Sacramento to Portland when he was living in Portland. And it took me about 17 years to get from Sacramento to the Oregon border.
Yeah.
And then like 3 hours to get to Portland from there.
Yeah.
So you're somewhere in between the 3 hours.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. And do you get home often?
Probably once a quarter, so like every 3 months I go back.
Mm-hmm. And you drive?
I did during the pandemic, but
Yeah.
typically I fly.
And you fly from where to where?
Slow, SF.
To a connector to Bend or?
Bend, yeah.
Okay. Awesome. And are you an only child or?
No, I actually have an older brother who's 22.
Oh.
18 months older than me.
Okay. We call that Irish twins.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lafke, and what nationality is that?
I don't know where Lafke comes from. That's my dad's side, but my mom's side is very German. So my middle name is Vaughn, so it's Walter Vaughn.
Okay. VAU?
VAUGH.
All these cool names. That's unbelievable. Well, welcome to the Central Coast. I feel like I should be the ambassador who welcomes you. I don't know if you've been welcomed officially yet, but
I feel like I've been welcomed quite a bit for the last couple of years.
yeah. Okay. So what are your I guess pre-pandemic, what were your go-to hangouts in San Luis?
Oh, the grad.
The grad?
The grad.
No way.
Yeah, line dancing on Thursday night.
Is the grad still open?
No, it's gone.
They shut, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think I've heard they're opening like a new version of the grad.
Oh my gosh. Well, so my parents used to leave us with like a pot pie dinner and VHS movies and go dancing at the grad when we were kids in the 80s. Like that's how long the grad's been doing the grad, right? That's crazy. So, okay, the grad, where else do you go?
I don't know. Anywhere, everywhere.
Yeah.
It's kind of, I mean, as a student, you get kind of just your Cal Poly area and all
Yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah. And what other schools were on your list besides Poly?
Really none. I don't think I really got in anywhere else. I didn't really apply. I applied to like maybe 2 other schools like Oregon. I could have gone to Oregon.
Yeah.
And like Ohio State, I think.
Oh, wow.
But I knew I was going to come here. So.
Sure. Yeah. And had you gone to Cal Poly or San Luis and visited
Yeah.
a few times before? Or?
I visited twice and just knew it was the place I want to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so what's your major?
I'm agriculture business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know Ben Swan? You know, what does Ben Swan do? He's an administrator in the.
Yeah.
Ben, are you watching? I don't know. He's an ag department head.
Yeah, he's been there for a while.
Turn your mic that way.
What do you mean this way?
Down. There you go.
Yeah.
Act like you've done it before.
Yeah, Ben's been there for a while. I think my wife knew him when she was at Cal Poly. So it's, but yeah, it's amazing the admin side of Cal Poly. There's so many people that are there.
What's the student body? Do we know how many? 20,000?
Yeah.
5,000 per class, pretty much.
Okay. And what year are you? Are you almost
I'm
done?
a third year, so I got one more year.
Okay, great. And so your ag business, you've got pretty much all the BS classes out of the way, and now you're like super into all of your kind of meat, right?
Yeah, they're pretty focused classes.
Meat pun.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're not taking basket weaving or any of that anymore?
No, unfortunately. In all these focus classes.
Good.
But
And so,
This is where it gets kind of enjoyable. And this last year is probably because Cal Poly's like the hands-on school of learning, but this last year you got kind of robbed from that, right?
Yeah, I've been in Zoom classes for I don't know how many months now,
But through your own
Yeah.
initiative, you said, hey,
yeah,
I'm going to go ahead and just take this online education, push it to the side, and do my own hands-on and just start a business.
Yeah, school really took like a kind of backseat for the last year.
so are you like most kids who just, if you had your own apartment, you stayed, or did you go home?
I said,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. And then you dove like headfirst into Harvestly. Was Harvestly born pre-pandemic?
Yeah, so we can get into this later, but the concept, I had been thinking about it for years, and it just happened that our first like product launch was the day before like everything shut down.
Really?
So it's kind of coincidence. But then
You're not in the mix with the Chinese, are you? No, okay. I'm just saying because that would be because we've actually been accused of that as well with the soap. I don't know what's wrong with your equipment. dude.
It's operator error. There you
I
go.
will say I was, and my roommates can testify to this, my girlfriend can testify, I was watching live streams in China like in early January and been like, they just built a hospital in 2 days. This is not working.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I kind of actually, as far as when the product launched, I had been like, okay, this pandemic's probably going to, at the time, it was just like a virus. It's probably going to come here, so we should probably get this thing done.
Well, let's start. So let's start at the beginning. What was your? So you had kind of this concept that you've been building out in your head for a few years. What was your MVP? Like, what did you launch first?
This really horrible app that didn't really work. It was called AgriConnect.
Okay.
So the original name of the company was AgriConnect. So it was like agriculture connections, blah, blah, blah. And it was really centered in farming.
That would look terrible on a T-shirt. Just FYI. Harvestly looks probably pretty freaking
It
cool.
almost sounds like a rural dating website.
AgriConnect.
Right? So
It's like find the. It's almost like a chemical. Like
Yeah.
find the chemical you need to apply to your crop. Right.
That's where you
Okay.
go, AgriConnect.
See, this is what we do. We just make fun of your ideas.
Sorry.
No. Okay.
No, that name wasn't great.
Okay. So AgriConnect. Go ahead.
AgriConnect launched like literally right when the lockdown happened, and then it just like I don't know. I got 20 users, a couple farms, and it just kind of stopped working because that's what happens when
Mm-hmm.
you have these MVPs.
Yeah.
But for me, it was like, okay, this actually might be a thing.
So did you do what they tell you to do, which is like interview your customers and like solicit so much feedback from everybody, or did you just kind of go with your gut?
I take a little bit of a different approach. Like I definitely don't follow like the classroom
Yeah.
thing for entrepreneurship. I mean, at the time I was good friends with all 20 of my first customers, not because I've lived here forever, but because I would call them and be like, hey, this is what we're doing, blah, blah, blah. So I became really close with my customers and also with my vendors. And a great example is GABA. I mean, like me and GABA are pretty good friends now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, getting feedback was useful, but it wasn't like, it was like, okay, I knew what I needed to build.
Sure.
And then it was kind of off to the races.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so are you a developer at all, or?
No,
Okay.
not at all.
Okay.
I have no software development skills.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're just your product.
Yeah, I'm really like ideas, like kind of forward thinking, and then management of people, obviously, and then yeah, I help out with a lot of the relations. So like,
Mhm.
you know, being friends with GABA.
Mm-hmm. And then who's are you also the one that's going out and soliciting the farms and the
I was originally.
Mhm.
To start, I went to the farmers market every week for like probably 6 months before I started.
That's probably like the best place, right? Because you can hit everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, and it wasn't like just that there's everyone's comment, this annoys me, the misconception that there's only one farmer's market in this county
Right.
on Thursday night in San Luis Obispo, but it was like, you know, coming up here
Yep.
for Templeton, and then, you know, the Madonna one, Los Osos, all the
Mhm,
markets.
Steve Lechuga, he's got his corn at Templeton.
Steve
Every-
has found his calling. You know, obviously we grew up with Steve, and then him and I were firefighters together back in the day. And he was a great firefighter, but that just wasn't his calling. And so he started getting into the farming, the ag, that sort of stuff, and fell in love. The guy's got the best ponytail ever.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
awesome. But you bring up a good point about the farmers market, because the farmers market are so labor intensive for somebody who's actually out growing their stuff, everything else, where you might get 25, 30 people walking by your booth at a farmer's market, where Harvestly just brings the farmer's market to the doorstep of the people. So, yeah.
And so for those of you who are watching for the first time, and Matt and I have talked about Harvestly on and off for the last 4 or 5 weeks since you've been
Correct.
dealing with them. But so Walter Lafke's the founder, he's the CEO of this company called Harvestly. It's a startup that's a Cal Poly startup, basically. It's Cal Poly student startup that the overall goal of Harvestly is to basically bring local farm fresh goods direct to a consumer's table, right?
Yeah, and the goal really derives from trying to help the farmer, the producer.
Okay.
It's really centered, like in all of our pitch decks, the problem isn't the consumer. The problem is the farmer not getting enough dollars for the product.
Okay. So the farmer not being able to market to a broad enough customer base.
Yeah, exactly. And like the investment side of building out a direct consumer brand for farmers isn't necessarily like logical, because it's, producers, farmers, whatever it is, are really good at what they do. They're not necessarily really good at marketing. So I said, okay, let us do that. Let us build your brand. And then you guys focus on what you do best, which is producing a really good product.
Sure. Yeah. And how much do you get involved with the logistics for the farmers?
I mean, we do it basically from their farm to the customer. So we have a full distribution system. We have two hubs in North County, and then we have our fulfillment center down in SLO.
Okay.
So we kind of put all the orders together down in SLO, and then we send them out.
So if I'm a consumer that wants to sign up for, is it a kind of pay as you go thing, or is it a subscription as a consumer, or what is that?
So it's whatever you want. Something that I really didn't like about how, like CSAs and like how those systems work is the only way you can really buy in is subscribing.
Sure.
And I was like, I don't want to subscribe. Like, I want to choose what I get every week. I don't want to.
Yep.
I don't want you to auto charge my card every 7 days. So I give consumers a choice, so they can buy what they want when they want. So it's really, you can create an account, but you're not charging anything for it.
Yep. Okay. So I can go on and I can just pick and choose what I want when I want.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's awesome.
So I think the interesting thing is he kind of oversimplified the logistics of it, right? And so you as a consumer can not only shop from Grandpa Rossi's garden, but you can shop from a dude who's producing seaweed stuff out of Morro Bay and a meat producer from South County or whatever, and so it's pretty awesome. So I mean, and all this comes together at their fulfillment center, which I'm actually going to visit tomorrow, and they make the magic happen, and then it ends up at your doorstep. So there's a huge advantage to the consumer, because, and maybe you want to pull up the website just so you can see it.
For sure.
But it's basically you can shop all these different farmers, which is amazing.
Now he's telling me to pull up the website. He's producing the show.
Yeah.
No problem, Matt. Anything else? Okay, so my mind went to, our restaurants using Harvestly?
Yeah, so we are.
That would be a huge market, I would think.
So it's restaurants for us do a lot of prepared foods, because we know our customer likes prepared foods. So Firestone's on there, Giovanni's is on there, Bliss Cafe is on there.
I'm sorry, my mind was like, if I'm a super niche restaurant, why wouldn't I use Harvestly to get all of my ingredients?
Oh, on the wholesale side.
On the wholesale side.
So we have had a few people do that. It isn't really geared towards wholesale.
Got it.
On the website, but that you're onto a future product line.
Because you're basically taking out all the work for me as a restaurateur to kind of source all of the local stuff.
Yeah, so we've had many discussions with our restaurants that sell things about
Yeah.
the wholesale side, and so that actually is somewhat in development.
Interesting. Okay. So Matt, you signed up as a
vendor.
as a vendor.
Right.
Okay. And what's that process like for Walter to come to you and you to come to an agreement? What does that look like?
It was super simple. I mean, basically, I just submitted a form. Walter gave me a phone call to make sure I was real. And then we just briefly talked about kind of what I did. And he's like, yeah, perfect. Cool. I'm going to go ahead and send you up a vendor account. We're going to need your banking info so that way we can deposit money in there. So I'm like, oh, I'd like to hear that. And then he basically, actually Lars, his other partner, walked me through how to make listings, right? And it was no harder than doing a Craigslist post, right? So I uploaded a picture, a description, a title, a price, how much I had in quantity. Boom. I think last night I listed 3 things and it took me less than 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And you can go in and change your listings
Absolutely.
at
yeah.
any given time.
Any given time. Yeah. And you can update quantities, prices, pictures, everything, right? And so it's a beautiful platform for somebody who is somewhat computer illiterate like me. It was so simple. So.
And so I'm looking at this, and we could shop by department, by vendor. And how often, as a consumer, can I get a delivery from Harvestly?
So right now we're at once a week
Okay.
on Thursday, but in the next 3 months we're going to move to 2 days a week.
Okay, so it's not like the 2-hour Amazon deal. What's up with that? I mean, what do you
We'll get
guys?
there.
No,
At some point, Harvestly will be like a 5-minute delivery.
no.
Order 5 minutes. to your house.
You'll actually eat the food before it's there.
Yeah.
Like that's how badass this company is. No. All right. So, how big is the company people-wise right now?
I honestly haven't done a count in a little bit, but as far as drivers, we have like 12 drivers, and then as far as like staff or Harvestly, it's probably, I don't know, 10.
Okay.
So we're probably,
And so your drivers are independent contractors, or are they actually on staff?
yeah, so they are independent contractors, and so it's very similar to like how Uber operates.
Sure.
It's a gig system. They have an app.
Yeah.
You ping them when they're ready. When the orders are ready, they come pick them up, take them to the customer.
Awesome. And then if I wanted to be a driver, what is the process? Do I find that online here?
We don't really advertise that much for that because we only hire students to be drivers.
Oh, okay.
But it's an application, and we just need, you have insurance, you have a valid driver's license,
And
you're a
you're-
real person.
And your drivers have been pretty much word of mouth coming to you?
Yeah, exactly. And we vet them a little bit, make sure they're good people. And then, we really try to hire solely students.
Awesome.
And we are solely student drivers right now.
Okay, cool. And so you've got this thing you're doing on the side called school. And so what are you doing? Like what does your day consist of? Like with a normal class schedule in Harvestly?
So I mean, today I came up here at 7. I'll probably have to leave at 8:30 because I have class at 9. So I have 9 to 11. Then I have gym from 11 to like 12:30, and then I will work for the rest of the day on Harvestly.
See, Matt, he schedules his gym time. He makes it a priority.
Now that was scheduled for you, right? Like it's gym class, or are you like, no, this is the time?
No, every day I leave an hour and a half to go to the gym.
Jesus,
There you go.
this guy,
All right.
you're going to be successful in life. I mean, that's just prioritize
Well,
and execute.
Lars is our head of operations at Harvestly. We're actually training for a triathlon. So we're doing a triathlon in September.
Wow. Dang,
I got a long ways to go.
Yeah, well, I'm saying
like.
like Lars is built to run. I mean, that
Yeah.
guy doesn't have, but you're built like me, like
Yeah.
like you're a rugby player. So,
It's going to be tough. But
yeah,
I'll
congratulations.
get there.
That's great. Well, you only get one shot at it, and that's when you're 21. So I can tell you that.
What triathlon?
I don't remember the name. It's down.
I think it's called Iron Man. I don't know.
Is it local here?
No. It's down. It's on south.
Okay. All right. I wish I learned how to swim better.
You know what?
Like that, my mom got mad at me because I told this story once before, but they would drop me off at the plunge every day,
Right.
and I would sit in the corner crying from like noon to 4, because I hated the water.
Were
And
you that guy?
I was that guy.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Me and Earl Clark, we were sitting at the kiddie pool and never learned how to swim. So triathlon, and you've never done one before?
No, but I grew up being a crazy athlete. I actually went to a ski academy in Sun Valley, took boarding school.
Oh, okay.
So all I did was ski.
Wow. That sounds amazing. Which skiing though is like, can you think of a sport with more work, please? Like you have to put stuff on, you gotta get like it's just so much,
That
right?
was pretty intense.
I'm out of breath just
Super
thinking about
intense.
putting on my boots right now. It's- Back to the Harvestly, the one cool thing. So not only am I a vendor, but I'm also a consumer of Harvestly, and it was important not only to just support the other ag vendors, but also I wanted to see, okay, what does the end result look like,
Mhm,
right? If I'm going to be putting my name out here,
Mhm.
I was super impressed because they send you a text and you can follow along where your delivery is.
Mm.
And so they literally let you know, like, hey, we're 5 minutes out.
Mhm.
And then you can actually pull up a map and see your driver. So it is a lot like Uber or,
Mhm.
or any of the others. So hats off to you guys because this is an amateur hour. This is like the real deal. So yeah, and then also you guys, for first time people, you're kind of saying, hey, we're going to give you 10% off your first order if you want to jump on there and try, which I think is a huge thing for people that are kind of on the fence.
Yeah, totally. So the 10% off, it's the first time, customer discount. And then I was going to say on the deliveries, those actually, as of last week, all of our deliveries are actually carbon offset now.
Wow.
So we're working towards like carbon neutrality, if not carbon negative, in the next couple months.
So Amazon had this thing like set up by 2025. You guys are beating them by about 3 years.
Yeah, it's a little bit easier because we don't have so much going on, but so that's super exciting to have that. And then, I don't know.
So currently you have basically distribution in all of San Luis Obispo County, right? You serve customers just within the county, or is it like where's your range?
So yeah, it's in the county, and so the thinking with that, I didn't mention this yet, but I grew up kind of in a farming background. My parents weren't farmers, but I actually started a farm when I was 13, and I grew a bunch of tomatoes, and I actually grew the company up to doing like 1,000 pounds a week in tomatoes,
Mhm.
but I solely focused on local because they're a lot of people don't understand that there is enough consumption in an area to support the local agriculture, but just because of how our ag system is set up, the supply chain, often people think that there isn't enough food in a local area to support people. But particularly here on the Central Coast, there is an abundant amount of food. Everyone should be eating food from South County. There's no reason we need to import any food.
Yeah.
And so I focused on local. So it was always going to be a hyper local marketplace where we actually set parameters on where vendors can sell and where customers can buy.
Okay.
And so we determine local as county. Whole Foods says it's this big, or every grocery store has a different definition of local.
Mhm.
And it's typically, the Western United States. We're saying, no, it's actually just the county, because that's how you really see your dollar's impact is based off that county. And so coming up pretty soon, we're going to pop down to Santa Barbara County. We have Santa Barbara vendors. We have Santa Barbara customers.
Yeah.
And that's how our website is built. So we can click a button and it'll say, okay, enter your zip code when you get on here. And then it's matching you with vendors in your area.
So basically you're building the framework that you're just going to be able to kind of plug and play into all of these. Yeah, for sure. Okay.
But 4 years from now, our goal is to be along the whole coast of California.
Okay. And then from like the business standpoint, you're building out really kind of the world's largest database of local farmers, right? Which is interesting. And you're also building out a large database of local consumers who buy local, right? So like sky's the limit with what you can do with that information.
Yeah, and the goal with that is really to optimize production.
Mhm.
And so if I know how many people are going to consume your ground beef based off historical data on Harvestly, I can actually give you recommendations. So next year, let's increase your production by 10%, because I know that's sustainable for you, and I know that more consumers are going to be able to consume that. So we actually can turn into somewhat of a efficiency platform that's helping farmers understand where the consumption is and how the demand is built.
And farmers not only need help with marketing and distribution, they also need help with packaging and design work and brand, so like sky's the limit with what Harvestly Big Brother can do for the farmer, right?
Yeah, it's really going to be geared towards helping. So
Mm-hmm.
we've started to slowly introduce those kind of features, I guess, where we help with, help you understand like what a good packaging system is, like blah, blah, blah. But going forward, I'd love to lean into that more and somehow keep it free. But, we haven't totally figured that out yet.
So it's free for Matt to sign up as a vendor.
Yeah, so we take a transaction fee. So
Got it.
There's no subscription or anything like that.
The wonderful thing I like about Harvestly is they kind of have a pretty good philosophy that if I win, they're going to win, right? And vice versa. Why I invited Harvestly on today is because it is the ultimate teamwork.
Yeah.
Like they're not out to make $1 on me and I'm not out to make $1 on them. As a community, if we strengthen our local ag, everybody wins, right? Because even if you're going on there to go to Grandpa Rossi's farm, you're also going to see my product, right? And you're going to, it's just more exposure. So
yeah, I think in the last 6 months, we've paid out 2 local vendors about $150,000.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah. And then you sample a lot of the local vendors, right?
Yeah. So I order from every vendor when they sign up.
So he kind of vouches like, okay, this is a good one. So how does the Irish Oaks Ranch just size up?
Yeah. So I had a barbecue the other day for, I don't know, they're probably 10 under CDC guidelines barbecue, socially distanced.
And masks.
There was probably 10 people there and everybody thought that, and I cooked meat and it was the ground beef from Irish Oaks and it was amazing. Everyone was like, this is the best beef we've ever had. And they were all super duper excited. And the sausage was really good too. So I would say it's a 5 out of 5 or 10 out of 10.
That's perfect. If you can do me a favor, maybe leave a review, that would help.
I came home from our hike yesterday to the smell of 3 crock pots worth of bone broth.
Oh, dang.
The Irish Oaks bone broth that my wife basically scavenges their freezers to get all the excess bones and makes this amazing bone broth with it. So, okay, so you guys are you self-funded at this point? You guys are just a startup?
We actually did recently close a seed round.
Oh, okay.
So we were bootstrapped up until, I'm going to say a month and a half ago, which was super fun. I mean, we started with nothing. And as a 20-year-old, no one listened to me. It wasn't going to be, the only way I was going to make this thing work is by doing it. And so it's nice to have money, but, you can get stuff done without it. And
you have good advisors?
Yeah, actually, our advisory board is one of the most legit things about our company.
That's so cool. Good. So, all right. And this is year 2 or?
Of school?
No, of Harvestly?
No, we're about 12 months into it.
Okay. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make AgriConnect t-shirts. I think that'd be so freaking cool. AC. Yeah. So did you have an AgriConnect logo and all that? Or?
Yeah, I think so. It didn't look good.
Gavin's shaking her head like, don't bring up AgriConnect. All right. So in how many, I don't know if you want to divulge numbers, but how big are you as far as your consumers that you're delivering to on a weekly basis?
Yeah. So it changes every week because we're growing. So we're growing at about 25 to 30% a month right now.
Jeez.
And so like last week we did, I think 160 deliveries on like a $90 average order.
$90?
Yeah.
And so that's probably 4 or 5 different vendors per order?
Typically we see like 10 to 15 products per Harvestly bag, or we call them Harvestly hauls.
Okay.
And so in a box, you'll really see probably 7 to 8 vendors, 7 to 8 different local vendors. Obviously, all of them getting a check from that.
Yeah, that's so cool. And so, Matt, as far as the movement that you've had through Harvestly, you're 3 weeks, 4 weeks?
This week is our third week. Yeah, so we're taking orders on the third week.
Okay, third week. And as far as your, I guess, logistics on your end, when you get the orders through them, it's pretty easy for you?
Yeah. So actually, they use Leo Gelato as one of their pickup locations, and we rent a freezer from Nikolai up there.
And is that how you found out about Harvestly?
No, not at all. I mean, I actually found out through GABA and contacted GABA, and I was like, hey, I see you guys are a local farmer. Do you want to use my shop as a pickup? And she's like, no, I'm already taken. Contact Harvestly. So I'm like, oh, okay, what's up, Harvestly? So, but actually, we've it was great because we were forging a relationship to where we're actually going to offer a vendor drop off for Atascadero folks here, as well as in the future, possibly, a pickup location, right? So it's only good business to team up like that.
Well, let's invite GABA in. Can you share the mic?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Or do you want to take off?
No, I can stay.
You got 15 minutes?
I'm good.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, unfortunately, this
What?
stand, it's
I
not.
said, do I have to hold it?
Yeah, no, you can put it on here. Here. Let's see. Super. There you go. Look at that.
Look, I'm going to like sing as that.
Right. Yeah, you should. All right, Gabba, did you grow up here?
Basically, I grew up in Los Osos.
Los Osos. Oh, where at?
Where at?
Yeah.
In Baywood.
In Baywood?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On
So
6th Street.
my parents have a house on 13th Street.
Okay.
So we split time between North County and 13th Street growing up.
I lived there 20 years.
Oh,
Yeah.
fun. Good.
Morley High School.
Oh, what year?
2002.
2002. Do you know any of the Gaffneys?
I know all the Gaffneys.
Okay.
Grew up with the Gaffneys.
Those are my cousins.
Oh.
Yeah. So
yeah.
my
We go
mom,
way back.
and Irene Gaffney are sisters.
My mom and Irene were friends.
Irene's amazing, right? Yeah. So yeah, the Gaffneys, Morro Bay, small town.
Yeah.
Totally. The first place I lived in 1979 as a 2-year-old coming up from LA was Baywood.
Okay.
And then we moved up to the North County because I liked the heat. Well, my family liked the heat.
Yeah.
So, all right. So you are in the family farm that's been around for 100+ years, right?
Yes.
I mean, how long?
Yes. So my husband's great grandfather, I think Vincente Rossi, traveled over here from Switzerland in the late 1800s
Okay.
and bought the land that we live on.
Wow.
So
And
yes.
the land has since it's been divided up. Obviously, it's gotten, but you're still on what, 100 acres or
Yes.
something? Okay, and on the west side of the 101.
Yes.
So anybody that, if you know the old kind of Rossi Dairy area, you guys back up to that property, right?
Yeah, we overlook the Rossi Dairy. We're kind of up on the hill.
Yeah, beautifully oak lined mountain is
Yes.
gorgeous, right? Yeah. And so are you northeast facing?
Oh, gosh.
Like, do you face Paso and Templeton?
Yes.
Okay.
thank you, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, kind
Ish.
of, yeah.
Ish.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're up on
Um,
a hill, so we kind of can look
it's-
all around.
It's basically
Streets.
God's country. What I'm
Yeah.
getting at,
I
right?
feel like we're pretty secluded up there, so I kind of forget what's going on everywhere else when I'm at home.
So do you get to your house through Del Rio?
I do.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Del Rio is my cutoff typically, Matt. I forgot to tell you this. Being a North County guy, I don't like to go south of Del Rio
Mhm.
because then you get into Greyhound country, and I'm not a fan.
I also don't like to go south of Del Rio or north of Target.
Mm.
I just-
Oh,
right there.
interesting. Yeah. Okay. Wow. I go to 10th Street in San Miguel. That's
Okay.
about my cutoff. Yeah. All right. So how did you come across Harvestly? How did you and Walter meet?
Oh gosh.
Here, let me adjust your mic so you can
Okay.
look at him.
Yeah, Walter. Walter and I met on Instagram back when it was still AgriConnect.
So were you just DMing people on Instagram?
I was.
Freaking, I'm
He
telling you,
was.
man, is it like, that's like the thing that unlocks things, right?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we call it like hand-to-hand guerrilla marketing.
Totally.
It was a little scary at first.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know who he was and I didn't know if it was legit. And as a female, when a male contacting you who you don't know, it's like, who is this person?
Yeah.
But here he is. He's real. He's super nice. So
Wow. That's,
Yeah, he's like, hey, do you want to?
sorry.
Here, okay.
I want you to sit naturally.
Sit naturally.
Sit natural. Yeah. Is that how you want to be? I got
I
you.
don't know.
I got you. Hold on.
Like this?
Perfect.
Okay. So Walter contacted me. It was formerly AgriConnect at the time. It was probably last April-ish. And
Sounds right.
he started following me on Grandpa Rossi's Garden. I followed him back. He's like, do you want to sign up and sell your items here? And I was like, I only have some eggs and like spinach. He said, sure. So I signed up right away, and he was super excited about it because I was one of the first vendors to like on my own sign up.
Do you guys have an Instagram that I can put up?
Yes.
Bring up. What
it's
is it?
Grandpa Rossi's Garden.
Grandpa.
Yeah. There we go. So yeah, I'm pretty more active on Instagram than I am on our Facebook. So there we are.
Awesome.
My husband and I just celebrated our 11th wedding anniversary this weekend.
Oh,
so
congratulations.
Here we are in Cambria.
Oh.
Um,
Oh, you ventured far.
we ventured.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I signed up through AgriConnect, and it was really cool. And that's how I met Walter. Basically. He came and visited, I think, like that week.
Well, as
basically,
soon as
too.
she got an order, I drove up there immediately.
Yeah, he
So-
drove up.
We didn't at the time. We didn't have like delivery days or anything. It was on demand. I
Yeah.
was the only driver. So as soon as Gaba would get an order, I was in the Jeep, cranked up there,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
right to the customer. And the customer would be like, it would literally be like 20 minutes.
It was really fast.
That's amazing.
Because it
Wow.
was just Walter, like, doing all of the work and all of the driving. So let's get this delivery. He'd come over, we'd walk down to the garden and harvest real quick and take it over.
Oh my gosh.
Pretty funny.
All right, it's 8:22. In case you're just joining us, we have Gaba Rossi, who is Gab. What is it? Grandpa Rossi's Garden.
Grandpa Rossi's Garden.
Grandpa Rossi's Garden. She is a local farmer who is a vendor for Harvestly.co. We've got Walter Lafke here as well, who's also the CEO. At 8:30, he's going to bail on us. He's got to go to class. But we'll muscle through the next 7 or 8 minutes. We've got Josh Aston, the principal at Templeton High School, coming in at 8:30 to give us a quick update about what's going on. But Gaba's going to hang out with us. You got time, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So that's what we're looking at right now. We're looking at Gaba's Instagram feed, all of her wonderful things. And so, all right. So your first impression, Walter shows up. He's got probably like really cool, hip Bend, Oregon clothes on that, like, you could tell he's not from here. Like, you know, he doesn't have the circle in the back pocket of his Wrangler with the can of chew. You're like, who is this? He's not okay. So what first impressions? It was super fun.
Yeah, first impression, my husband and I really like Walter. Like instant connection, basically. A lot of respect for him. He's at the time a 20-year-old named Walter.
Yeah, right.
So
I mean, how could you not trust a
Exactly.
Walter? Yeah.
Walter. So he obviously very smart, had a great idea. We had a need. We actually didn't have a selling platform yet.
Okay.
So we were brand new. So Walter comes along with AgriConnect, now Harvestly, and basically fulfilled that need that we had
Yeah.
to sell.
And so what were you doing before Harvestly? Just farmers?
Actually, no, we were caregivers for my husband's grandma.
Okay.
She lived with us for 3.5 years, and she needed 24-hour care, so we were home caring for her,
Mhm.
living on our land, realized we have this land, we need to do something with it.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's when we became farmers.
Okay. So do you have, has your family or the Rossi family kept a good like history of the land?
Yeah, actually, well, the milk bottle, if you've seen the milk bottle that used to be
Downtown,
there,
yeah.
they recently moved it a couple years ago down to the Templeton Museum. And there's definitely a lot of news articles,
Mhm.
dating back and like explaining the history of the dairy and
Sure.
the Rossis. So, yeah.
Okay. So you've got you've got this need that you're like, okay, I've got to farm this land, and you chose spinach and eggs. right?
At the time,
And
yeah. that was in
eggs.
season.
Yeah, so we bought 9 acres. We grew up here. We moved 20 years, came back in 2015, sold our house in San Jose that was the size of this table, and then we bought 9 acres in Templeton, and we're like, we need chickens, and so we got 29 chickens and probably 35 eggs a day for like the first year and a half, and we're like, we can't eat any more eggs. What is going on? How was that? Like, how did you know how many chickens to start with? And like,
Well, have you heard of chicken math?
no.
Wow, chicken owner who doesn't know chicken
I,
math. Okay.
I'm a
So-
reformed chicken owner. We have 0 chickens right
Okay.
now.
So
Yeah.
we started with me, first of all, being terrified of birds
Mhm.
and not wanting to touch them. And I was like, well, let's maybe get 10 chickens. So we got 10 chickens. The next day we got 10 chicks. The next day we got 10 more chicks.
Oh,
And then the next day I think we got maybe more. And then we started letting them go broody once they were big, and then they were hatching out their own chicks. And now I don't know how many we have, maybe 40 chickens.
oh my gosh.
But like they come and go,
Yeah.
chickens.
Right.
And we've had roosters
And they're all free range, just
yeah, they're pretty much free
Yeah.
range. Yeah.
okay. And so how are you calculating how to keep up demand at this point? Like,
Right now we can't keep up with demand.
okay.
But we can't have more chickens because our coop isn't big enough.
So-
And it's important to have enough space.
So in that situation, like when she's sold out of eggs, what do you do for your consumer?
I mean, unfortunately, we have to go get another egg vendor because, I mean, GABA, I don't know when the last time you haven't sold out.
Yeah.
Really?
Harvested.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
that crazy. Whatever she puts out, it sells.
Yeah. Okay. And so what do you think? Do you think you have buyers that are specifically seeking out her eggs?
Yeah, so she
At this point?
she has reoccurring customers because GABA has really focused as a vendor on the customer experience, leaving notes, leaving blah blah blah, and the quality of the product is really good. I can't say it's much higher than any other product, but it is really good quality product. I order her eggs.
Yeah.
Often my roommate orders her eggs. And the quality of the product is really good, but then also the customer experience. She leaves a note in every single customer's box.
Look at you.
I like people.
And then you Instagram it, and
Yeah.
that's awesome. And so now, are you like, from my business mind, I'm going, okay, so how do I maximize the dollars spent with me from that one customer? Are you trying to upsell them, or how does that work through Harvestly? Can you do that, or
What exactly?
like,
So
Joe orders eggs from me every week. Hey Joe, you should buy a Grandpa Rossi's garden shirt.
We do all of that for her.
Oh,
so
you-
we optimize vendors'
Yeah.
revenue. So we say, okay, if you bought this thing last week, you're probably likely to buy it again.
Got it. Okay. And then now you've got spinach as well, correct?
Oh, well, now we have a whole lot of stuff. That
Oh.
was just when we first started growing. We have like 4 or 5 different kinds of lettuce. We have 2 different kinds of kale, radishes,
Mhm.
beets, chives, onions, flowers.
Wow.
We do like farm boxes and carrots, all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
So it's obviously just not you farming at this point, right?
Yeah, I actually do very little of the actual farming.
Okay.
It's an Instagram specialist.
I do all the social media, the marketing. I pack all of the boxes,
Yeah.
which takes a long time. But my husband, Jordan, who took the kids to school this morning, thank
Aw.
you, which he does almost every morning, he is like the farmer.
Okay.
He does all of the grunt work. And we also have help from actually one of Walter's roommates and friends, Jake.
Oh,
He
good.
comes and helps us now a couple times a week, which is awesome.
So it's literally a 3-person operation.
Yes,
Wow.
literally.
Holy smokes. And so volume, give me an idea of, like, on a weekly basis, the volume that you're pushing out through Harvestly, like
Yeah.
with your 3-person operation.
So we are getting about 30 plus orders a week. So that would be either an egg order or a box order or like a bag with a bunch of different produce in it. So 30 customers a week are ordering from us, which is really good for us as a small operation.
So yeah, I mean, you guys went from 0 to 30
Yeah.
in 12 months, right? Or less,
Yeah.
because of what they're doing.
Yeah, and I remember last year when Harvestly started, they would have 20 to 30 orders a week
Mhm.
just for Harvestly, and now they're at way more than that, and now we're getting 30 orders a week just for our business alone through Harvestly.
Goal is for September is 1,000 orders a week.
For Harvestly.
You're gonna get 300 a week.
Wow. Okay. So what kind of exclusivity rights does Harvestly have? Are you able to go to market by yourself?
Oh yeah, I can
Okay.
sell through Harvestly. I can sell through, we talked to Matt about having this be a drop-off location for
Yeah.
if I do like a farm box,
Yep.
and people buy them outside of Harvestly or through Harvestly. Because Harvestly has a lot of farmers market vendors who
Mhm.
sell through them as
Yeah,
well.
that having an
So-
exclusivity
Yeah.
term was discussed, but I was against it.
Yeah, because you're out to really help,
Yeah.
not kind of cut them off at the leg.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But what we have seen is some vendors, because of what Matt was talking about, have stopped going to the farmers market because it doesn't make sense anymore.
Because you're just providing them so much damn value.
Well,
It's
they
like,
don't have
why?
they don't have to sit there for 5 hours. They can just
Yeah.
they can sell more just when it's on the website.
Yeah.
We've been approached to do farmers markets before, and we're like, oh, man, we really like selling through Harvestly.
Mhm.
It's really convenient
Mhm.
for me to know exactly when I'm going to harvest, when I'm going to deliver it. The process is very smooth and very simple,
Mhm.
and that's what I like. I have 3 young kids,
Mhm.
and I'm working from home full time too, so I like that.
So do you have on your website, and forgive me, I don't know this, but on the website, is there a picture of like a sample of what I would get as a consumer every day?
Yeah,
Like,
go shop,
or maybe on your
like,
Instagram
go
or?
shop Grandpa Ross's.
Yeah.
Every product has pictures. The
Okay.
pictures are a huge thing. We have
So yeah, go to.
I think we're closing in on 800 products,
Yeah.
all from SoCal County. So just scroll down when you're on there.
So
Okay.
go to like.
Can I give you some like just regular feedback? I hate these dang pop-ups on the site.
Oh, that's the chat thing.
I can't how do I get rid of it?
You should press on it.
No, I did. Come on.
There's actually something, an issue going on with that
Oh,
little
yeah.
button. Because
Oh, there, the
last
X.
night I was up all night building this new referral system and loyalty thing. So you actually get points now.
I wanted to chime in. An idea that just came to mind. One of the awesome experiences with farmers markets is obviously you get to meet your customer, and the customer gets to meet the vendor in person. Would you ever be interested in doing like a vendor day, maybe twice a year,
Yeah.
so where all the vendors show up, and then customers, if they want to, can come by and kind of make it a festive event?
So I can't say too much right now, but there is something very exciting we're working on for July, in which we would have all of our vendors present, and customers would come to meet them, and they could buy from them, and it would all be kind of sponsored by Harvestly, basically. And so we're planning that. Hopefully we can get it happening in July.
I'm laughing because my caps lock was pushed like an hour ago and I haven't unpushed it yet. And so everything's going caps lock.
All right.
All
This is my
right, so
vendor
she's pulling up
profile.
Grandpa Rossi's garden.
That's our.
What are we,
Okay.
what,
Why is that not scrolling?
okay, what are we looking at here?
This is our vendor profile.
Okay, so we
That's
got,
our vendor profile. It talks about our farm. We're no-till, by the way, so we don't till, no tractor work, all by hand. And then if you scroll down, you can see our products.
So if you're on Harvestly, you can either shop by kind of category or you can shop by vendor.
Yeah.
We see it pretty split. Some people love to hear the story of the vendor. Some people just want to get their food.
sure.
So I personally shop by category because I know all the vendors already.
Well, I want to see what it looks like when I receive my package. Is it a big box? Is it every vendor individually packaged in a big Harvestly branded
So,
box? What is
yeah,
that?
we have reusable insulated totes, Harvestly totes.
Okay.
And so those are actually on a cycle for customers. So they'll get one delivery 1 week with the tote, and then they leave out their tote for the next week.
Mhm.
We pick it up, give them a new one. We take it back to the fulfillment center.
Okay.
And then the farm boxes come separate because
Yes, they're too big to go in the tote.
Yeah.
So if you go on Thursday to Instagram to Harvestly, Thursday night, you'll see people doing like unpacking their Harvestly totes and like taking pictures
The
and
Harvestly
doing
Hall.
their Harvestly haul and doing videos and stuff.
Oh, and that's
And
like on
tagging
your
Harvestly.
Instagram stories.
That's
Yeah.
like a thing. On Thursday night, it's everyone posts about their
Yeah.
Harvestly order for the week.
Yeah.
What's Harvestly?
It's harvestly.co.
Agra Connect.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
What's Harvestly Gives?
So I started a program about, right when the pandemic really kicked off, I started going to the farmer's market and buying and working with the farmers that I knew there, getting deals, and then delivering fresh produce boxes to people in need. And I think by the end of it, I had delivered like 600 boxes of free food to families.
Wow.
And then it actually got taken over by another nonprofit, it's still running in Los Osos.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's 8:35. Do
Yeah.
you need to get to class?
I mean, it's like 20 minutes from here, so I
Okay.
can do another 5 minutes, but I could also go. Whatever.
Walter Lafke is the founder and CEO of a company called Harvestly.co. It's a company that was started, let's call it 12 months or so ago. It's a Cal Poly students who have started this. It's owned and ran by Cal Poly students. They are up until very recently self-funded, and they just closed on a seed round. They have distribution and vendors throughout San Luis Obispo County, with plans to go into Santa Barbara County next. But their goal is to just basically come alongside the local farmer and be able to deliver the farmer's goods to consumers, to the dinner table, to the refrigerators, to and it's not just food, right? Like you're just anything that's produced locally.
Yeah, we have a little line where we kind of step into like crafters, but like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's really food centric, but we love all local producers.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. So can we have you back? I know.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Happy to talk. I love to talk about Harvestly, but I'm really passionate about like local farming in general. So there's a lot to it, and a lot of problems I'm working on solving other than just this.
Yeah.
Kind of,
Yeah. So are you a sticky note guy? Do you have sticky notes everywhere, or are you
no,
just
I
like
mean, in my brain I do.
Yeah.
I would be diagnosed with really bad ADHD, I guess.
Uh-huh.
But I think it's good.
Exactly. Well, we at least from a consumer standpoint, I appreciate what you're trying to do for bringing like good food to tables. That's obviously something that my family's become passionate about over the last few years. Considering that we were feeding our kids like every other red-blooded American fast food, coming and going from activities and whatnot. We've really tried to step up our health game. I lost audio.
That's my mother-in-law.
Oh no. Okay. Check 1, 2. Let me see here. We got.
I can hear you.
What's that?
I can hear you.
Oh.
Okay. She
Um,
lost audio.
Use their
Josh Aston, the principal at Templeton High School. Can you hear me? Josh can hear me.
Okay.
Josh is coming on right now. We're going to say goodbye to you, Walter.
Thanks for having me.
But yeah, and so if you guys want to kind of learn more about Harvestly, it's harvestly.co. And you can go on there as a consumer and sign up. If you want to be a vendor, if you've got local, obviously you've got probably some guidelines for these local farmers.
All the vendors are vetted.
Okay.
Like the application and matches. We make sure the food's good.
Cool. Okay.
But yeah, if get your orders in tonight. Tonight's the deadline for Thursday delivery. So if you order by 11:59 p.m. tonight, you can have everything delivered on Thursday.
I need to put you in touch with one of my best friends who works out with me every day. His name's Chris, and he just started a company called Mighty Cap Mushrooms. And he's only distributing to Morro Bay Oyster Company. He sells there, and to Edo currently. He's doing but he's selling out every week.
Let's get them on there.
And he's just expanded into I think it's like a 15,000 square foot facility
Yeah.
to start doing like super crazy mushroom varieties. So he's like perfect candidate for you. All right, Walter, thank you so much. Drive careful. Good luck in class today. Remember, you're the future of America, so please pay attention. All right.
Well, yeah.
Mr. Aston, I'm like terrible at at keeping you on a good time schedule, and it's always you. I don't know why.
Oh, no problem. It's all good.
Gaba's going to hang out with us this morning.
Oh yeah, sure.
Through the rest of the show, but sorry, how cool is that this is a student started company that has kind of grown into what it's become?
I love it. I love the fact that it just shows you, it shows young people to follow their passions, and
Totally.
you can all you need to do is have an idea and the drive to make it happen. And I mean, that is so cool.
Yeah, it's incredible. And when I was 21 years old, I was literally taking my paycheck from the radio station in LA. I worked for the Howard Stern show. I would take my $400 a week paycheck. I would go to the check cashing place. I would give my roommate $100 towards rent. I would spend about $45 on food, about $100 on beer, and then the rest of it would go to buy clothes for my next band gig. Like
Yeah.
that was my priorities at 21 years old. And now I'm sitting here with Walter, who is just on a whole nother level. Yeah, I'm blown away. And the kids these days are so much smarter.
Oh, absolutely. What's interesting is I've had the opportunity to be in some classes, some financial literacy classes here at the high school. And I mean, kids are talking about investing and the things that they've done as far as investments. And I'm like, oh my gosh, at 17, I would have never thought, an investment to me was I put it in a jar. So I put the money in a jar so I don't spend it, or,
Right.
something like that, and they're looking to diversify their portfolios, get in on some of that, get in on some stocks, do some trading.
That's
It's awesome.
yeah. My son's buying Dogecoin like crazy right now, like every other 16-year-old.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a trendy choice.
Totally, yeah,
for the young
right.
people, but and they don't like to hear what I tell them. I'm like, guys, buy stuff that's going to consistently get you, some returns. So
That's just aging you. You look like an old man. When
I
you say
know.
that
I'm like,
stuff, right?
Walmart's always going to turn a profit, right? So
Totally,
if you get get some shares of Walmart.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, Harvestly's the anti-Walmart, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What's going on at the high school this week?
Well, there's a ton of stuff. So first off, our engineering department has their maker fair starting tomorrow. Well, it's tomorrow. It's not just starting tomorrow, but tomorrow, all of our engineering students are going to have their projects, their year-long projects out on display in the quad at THS starting at 5, going from 5 till 7 p.m. So let me double check the time on that, but yeah, I think it's 5 to 7 p.m.
Okay.
But so great opportunity for the community to come through, take a look at what these, the hard work that these kids have put in. And I mean, there's amazing things like kids building their own 3D printers, kids, like some of these projects are just off the charts. So yeah, come take a look at it. And that's tomorrow. Let me just look at the time. Sorry. I'm just
And as
double
far
checking.
as like the guidelines go, we can go in there, obviously social distance, masked,
Yeah.
right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. So they're all going to be set up outside for the most part, but yeah, you just come on campus. Still masking applies. Other than that, well, like I said, there's a ton going on this week. So tonight, our soccer team plays first round has a CIF game versus Selma, and we're hosting that here at THS.
Okay.
And tomorrow, our girls soccer team has a CIF game.
Yeah.
Against Reedley, and we're hosting that here starting at 5. So boys soccer's at 6 tonight, girls soccer's at 5 tomorrow, and there's a myriad of other sporting events, but our tennis team rocked it in league championships.
Yeah.
I mean, just took it to the competition. So I mean, we're very proud of our girls tennis team. They've just done amazing, and they're going to move into CIF this week as well.
Great. Okay.
And then swim's got league finals right now. I mean, there's a lot going on.
Yeah. Hey, I've been thinking, how's the summer school planning going on your end? Are you guys geared up and ready to kick that off?
Yeah, you should really get Courtney Hendrickson, our assistant principal, on. She's been doing a lion's share of that.
I've yet to talk to her or even meet her.
I told her, I said, I gave her your email. I said, you need to email Mike and get on the show. And she's like, oh, I don't know.
Courtney Hendrickson, right?
Yep. C. Hendrickson at Templeton USD. Shoot her an email. So
Okay.
get her on it. But she's been doing a lion's share of, she's actually the summer school principal. She and Renee Argain from TES, they're running the summer school program, and they've got the staff hired. They're ready to get it rolling. We'll have a week after school gets out, you know, for everybody to just kind of take a break and reset, and then they'll start that next week, which I believe is like June 20, the week of June 21st. They'll start that week.
And as far as what the district has stated in the past, we're still on track for kind of maintaining. This is a normal summer school, normal class sizes, normal interactions. We're proceeding as if we're post-pandemic, right?
Correct. I mean, masking's still going to be in place unless Governor Newsom makes some drastic changes, you know, on June 15th. But you know, other than that, yeah, it's a normal day.
Okay. Awesome. And then you've got obviously scholarship night next week. We've got graduation that you're gearing up for. All kinds of other activities that are winding the year down. I was thinking on my hike yesterday, we are coming to the end of like the longest school year we've ever had, right?
It's true.
Is it the longest or is it the shortest? I can't tell.
You know, I think it's both. I think we look at it and it's kind of both. It's been so long. Like the time that we spent in distance learning it just seemed to drag on forever. But then now that we have students back, I think we are trying to jam all of the experiences of a school year into these last couple months. And it's been kind of hectic. In a good way, obviously, you know, but very, very busy. And so, right now it seems short. Like, I feel like we just got the kids back and now we're sending them on their way in, you know, less than 4 weeks.
Real quick, we've got a couple seconds left. I hate to cut you short. Do you have anything else you want to go over?
No, I think we hit a lot of the main parts.
Okay. Just one last question. Give me the specific date on the calendar where we're all going to just be able to sit there and go, oh, wow, we did it. We made it. Is it June 18th? What's that day?
I don't know. For us, after we get summer school done, I think we'll get like 15 minutes right before we all come back for next school year.
Oh my gosh. It's nonstop.
I just know June 11th is going to be a day that I'm going to take a deep breath and maybe sleep in a little bit.
Right there. You go. Well, you look good. You're maintaining your composure, and I'm sure you're maintaining your healthy diet and your exercise a little to make yourself feel fresh, right? Not really. Like the diet's kind of, it's one of those things. I look at you're doing your diet, no sugar and all that. I'm like, I need to get back on track. Oh my gosh.
It's a combination of getting food from the market or in and out. And
it's a game changer. I'm actually thinking about starting some type of boot camp here for my friends at some point, because I think everybody's like, reaching out to me going, hey, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I think more than anything, it's just one foot in front of the other, right? Every second. When do you report back to duty as a reserve? I
actually have a 2-week course that I have to take through the Army, and I was initially supposed to go to Fort McCoy, Wisconsin, but they've switched it to what they call hybrid. It's a hybrid course, so I'll be sitting at home on June 14th, and I'll be on the computer for 8 hours. Doing a course for the Army, so I don't have to leave town, but that's my next duty time.
And it's Flag Day, so that's
it is, and then 2 weeks of I have to do that for 2 weeks straight. So,
wow. Okay. Yeah. Well, thanks again for your service, and thanks for all the things that you're doing here at the end of the year to keep our kids pushed across that finish line. I know at least in my house, it's like 1.5 feet out the door, and just ready to turn the page. So,
Yep.
yeah. All right. Well, let me know if there's anything I can do for you, and then obviously, use this platform continuously to keep getting the word out.
Absolutely. And once again, Mike, thank you so much for, having me every week. I really appreciate it.
For sure. Yeah. Glad to do it. Thanks, Josh.
Yep, you bet.
All right. That's Josh Aston, principal at Templeton High School. All right, Anthony, we'll get you back in here, and then invite Mr. Chad Schoenthal in as well. Chad, good morning.
There we are. Good morning.
Hey, how are you, man?
I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
I'm fantastic. All right, so you sent me a bunch of information last night. I apologize for not returning the text. I was asleep.
That's quite all right.
Let me see here. Let me pull it up. All right. So Anthony kind of put this on my radar. And just so you know, Anthony is over here on my left that way.
Good morning.
Anthony runs a Facebook page called Pastor Robles Incidents and Actions.
Okay.
It's a page that has over 6,000 followers, and
Wow.
he is always reporting kind of what all the news and everything that's happening in and around the county. And so he's the one, like I said, that put this on the radar. But I wanted to get you on the show briefly to just talk through what you guys have going on. And so let me see if I can expand this. All right, so you guys decided to put on a fundraiser, your Central Coast Crushers baseball team and a Heavenly Home. What's the connection between you and a Heavenly Home?
Heavenly Home, one of the players on our team, his parents own the facility. It's an assisted care facility in Paso Robles.
Okay.
So we initially the kids and the families wanted to do something just to recognize, law enforcement and the Benedetti family. And so when we put it out, they asked if they could partner with us on it. They have a really nice state-of-the-art facility. They have a chef and an industrial kitchen, so it made it a lot easier for us. Obviously, than trying to do it on our own. So
yeah,
kind of started out of nowhere, kind of really organically, and here we are now with almost 400 pounds of meat that we got to start cooking here in a few minutes.
Unbelievable. And so just so you know, my initial reaction when I heard that you guys were doing this was, typically a travel baseball club or any really kind of youth sports club spends the bulk of the year fundraising to give these kids opportunities to go out and compete. And the fact that you guys are kind of flipping that over and saying, no, we're going to use our fundraising efforts and our manpower and our voice to actually fundraise for another cause. I mean, that just speaks volumes to the leadership of the organization. So thank you so much for instilling that in our kids, right? Because what you're doing is setting an example for those kids to use their voice to do good. And so that's awesome. Congratulations on that.
Oh, I appreciate it. That's why we live here, right?
Sure.
It's about the community. So believe me, we're going to Reno to a nationals tournament, 2 of our teams in a month, and we'll be there for 14 days. So
wow.
We definitely could have used the money, but
right.
This definitely trumps any of those issues. So
100%.
Really important.
Well, it's another kind of life experience that you're giving these kids to just kind of be selfless, right, in their actions. So that's awesome.
100%. And what's interesting is about 2 months ago, one of our 9-year-old players got all of his baseball gear stolen out of his car in Fresno. And I mean, it's not about the money; it's about how much time it takes to build these things. And so the kids immediately, this is just a great story. They said, "Let's do a lemonade stand." And I think I sent you over kind of how it kind of went viral. And
right.
Next thing you know, they raised over $2,500. War Stick Corporation, who sponsors us, donated a bunch of gear. The whole community just was dropping 20s and 50s at this. The lemonade was horrible, and everybody was just buying it. And so that's the kind of thing. I mean, this is a great opportunity for us to take travel baseball and show the kids what community service is all about, and and letting law enforcement know how much we appreciate what they do for us.
Oh, for sure. That's so cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so let's get down to kind of the nuts and bolts of tonight. So
Sure.
basically anybody who wants to can go, right? There was no,
Correct.
like, we don't have to qualify pre-sale. It's like you show up between 5 and 7.
Yep.
Payment can be made via Venmo, or what else did it say?
Venmo or check to Central Coast Crushers.
Okay. And we've got some tamale family meal on the menu, a tri-tip family meal. The beer and wine is amazing. That's always a plus.
Right.
A cheeseburger, individual. So you got individual plates if you're just wanting to go and grab a bite, or if you want to get stuff to take home to your family, they've got. And $75 really is not a lot of money. A family of 4, you're spending $90 at a restaurant.
Correct. And the pricing was actually, if you went and purchased the bottle of wine, the tri-tip, rice and beans, it comes out to like $65 for everything that we're including. So basically you're paying $10 more than what you would if you went to the store and bought it all.
So if I buy a tri-tip family meal
Mhm.
and pay $75, that comes with a bottle of wine?
Yeah. Or
Oh,
beer.
okay.
Yeah, we
Wow.
have some really generous wineries that have donated wine as well. So we thought that would be a little kick
Yeah.
on things. You know, the traditional tri-tip barbecues, the Santa Maria style. Kind of did a little bit more Paso Robles style with the homemade tamales and the wine and the local beer.
And so this is located at 2025 Union Road, which is a heavenly home. That's where they are, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And so can you real quickly, before I let you go, can you mention some of the supporters? You mentioned the wineries, and just so we can give them some recognition.
Absolutely. First of all, Heavenly Home for just everything of us using their facility. Allegretto, Paris Valley, Vineyard Sextant, Cisco, Firestone Grill, Dark Star Cellars, Joe's Place, Sign Here, Full Belly Deli. We have Dazzle Balloon Creations, also Christine's Cakes, Food for Less, just out of nowhere, just donated quite a bit of stuff for us. So it just keeps coming in. And we can't appreciate. We can't. It's unbelievable. I mean, this is something that just started, a few days ago, and it's already. If we had more time, but
Wow.
Here.
That's fantastic what you guys are doing. And then who are the unsung heroes, the ones kind of pounding the pavement for you behind the scenes to get this happen? Is it all you?
Well, the unsung heroes are our law enforcement community.
100%.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, Chad, I really appreciate you guys using your platform to do something like this. It's pretty spectacular what you're doing. And so hopefully you guys have a great turnout, which I'm sure you will. I think it's going to be hugely successful. So if you guys want to, or you can swing by there, even if you're not going to have dinner there like me, I'm on a health thing right now, but swinging through there to make a donation is always acceptable as well. So tonight, May 18th, 5 p.m. at 2025 Union Road. Anthony, you're going to be out there. You're going to go out there, right?
Yeah, and I had a question for Chad as well.
Sure.
So I actually work for Paso Daily News as well, and I can't hear the audio, so maybe you can just tell me. I would love to interview you, and along with I think her name is Jennifer.
Yes.
So I've already been in email communication with her, and so maybe I can get you two together for an interview for the Daily News.
Absolutely. No, whatever we can do. We really appreciate both of your support. It's great. We just want to get the word out. Our goal now is to raise $10,000 tonight to hand
Awesome.
that over directly to the family. And
Huge.
I think we're on track for that right now. The Venmo account looks like a slot machine right now.
That's beautiful.
Spiraling out of control, and that's a testament to why we live here, right? It's our community.
Yeah.
Everybody backs it. But yes, anything we can do to help, and we super appreciate the support. And we have some really good cooks, and so it should be a really good meal and value, and going to obviously a great cause.
So cool. Well, thanks again for what you're doing, and I'll go ahead and post the flyer and all of the information on the Morning Buzz Facebook page, so you guys can see that throughout the day. The Venmo information is on there as well. So, Chad, thanks so much. I appreciate you joining us this morning.
Super appreciate your time. Thanks for everything. Have a great day.
All right, you too. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
All right, that's Chad Schoenthal, Central Coast Crushers, who is doing this fundraiser tonight for the family and Detective Luca Benedetti, the tragedy that we had last week. And so another example of how freaking awesome our community is, right? It's amazing. So, all right, Gabba, we're here with Gabba Rossi. She is Grandpa Rossi's Garden. Is that the official name?
It is.
Okay.
It is.
Grandpa Rossi's Garden, and she is a local farmer who is farming land that has been in the family for over 100 years. Her and her husband a few years ago decided to just, I don't know, what it was like, hey, we've got this responsibility to use this land to do something with it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they started with chickens and spinach. Yeah. And so now you're still doing spinach, right?
You know, the spinach has not gone well this year, so let's do away with the spinach.
Oh, okay.
Maybe next year. But we have a lot of great kale and lettuce.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I don't think I've ever had locally grown lettuce or kale from like this area.
Well, once you eat locally grown or homegrown lettuce, you really won't want to go back to just grocery store bought.
Really?
Totally different texture. Yeah.
Like the iceberg stuff.
Yeah,
Totally
it's
fine.
just different. It has more flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. I had a smoothie yesterday at the neighborhood, and to do like no sugar, and it's like super hard because I'm not even doing fruits.
Ooh,
Yeah. So it was like just a blend of a bunch of different lettuces and
probably
salad.
kale and spinach. Celery.
Spinach, kale, celery. It was delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah, lemon juice, a little lemon juice in there. So, so what's your diet like on a regular basis? Are you eating off of your farm? Is this like pulling the curtains back?
I'm running around busy all the time, but yeah, I do definitely eat the eggs, of course. I won't eat eggs that aren't from my own chickens or from someone else's farm. We try to eat salad often. When it's the summer, it's a lot of fun because, of course, we grow cantaloupes, watermelons, tons of tomatoes, squashes, cucumbers. So that's like the fun season.
Yeah.
Leading up to that, it's just like all the greens,
Sure.
which is so great, but it's not as fun. So
we had a hard time. So when we got our property, my wife, we started a garden. What we found was we didn't know what we were doing, obviously, and everything, like, we had to harvest it at once. And so we're like, what do we do with all this that's going to go bad in 2 weeks, right? And then after that, we were like, yeah, we're not farming anymore. I mean, it was short-lived.
Yeah. Well, I love seeing people starting their own gardens. And one thing you can do when you grow lettuce and greens is you can just harvest per use.
Mm-hmm.
So like cut and come again, just pick, the lettuce leaves around.
Yeah.
You don't have to harvest a whole head.
You
and then we'll
don't?
just keep going.
Oh.
It'll just keep growing.
I'm like the worst North County guy ever. I literally have been here since I was 3, and I don't know this stuff. Yeah.
And then if you store the things properly, they'll last for at least a week if everything's stored properly.
Mm. Yeah. Are you guys doing any nuts?
We are not.
Okay.
Currently. Our neighbors we're next to a walnut orchard.
Oh, okay. All right. But I grew up, the house I grew up in was on the Lake Road in the middle of a almond ranch. And my sister and I used to eat the almonds.
Yeah.
I had a steady diet of almonds, which, by the way, keep you pretty regular.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love almonds.
Yeah. They just flush your system out.
Our families are almond farmers in the Central Valley.
Oh, okay. Like commercial almond farmers? Got it. Okay. Do they sell to the Blackwells and all that? I have
no idea.
All the almonds that you buy okay. Sorry.
I think they might. I don't know. They're big though.
So in addition to what you've got going on the farm, what's a day in the life of Gabba Rossi?
Well, so I have 3 kids.
Okay.
10, 7, and 4.
Mm-hmm.
And they take up most of my time. So getting them, we're doing hybrid school.
Okay.
They're in Templeton.
Oh,
Which
good.
we love. Go Templeton.
Yeah.
So, getting them to school, making sure they're on track with their school chores.
Yeah.
Taking care of the animals. And of course, going down to the garden, taking inventory and overseeing everything going on there.
Yeah. So my wife's a math specialist at Templeton Elementary. So she does 7-year-olds, which she might.
Oh,
7-year-old, a boy or a girl?
girl.
Okay.
She's in first.
Oh, who's her teacher?
Uh,
Oh, this is bad. Putting
Lors.
Okay. You could have said anything and I would have been like, oh, cool.
Who's your wife?
Her last name's Brady. Yeah. Allison Brady. She's a math specialist.
I feel like I should know these. I mean,
She
we've been
does-
in Templeton for a while. But
She coaches volleyball at the high school, but
Oh,
then
cool.
she also pulls out students to do math with them in
Nice.
elementary. So yeah, but she's also a Paso Bearcat grad.
Oh.
Yeah. So, but we love Templeton. It's a
Yeah.
great community,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. So okay, so Morro Bay,
Mhm.
class of 02.
Yeah.
Were you involved in FFA or sports or any kind of ag or anything?
Oh gosh, no. I was very, very shy.
Okay.
Very shy. And just kind of flitted between friend groups. I kind of was just friends with everyone and
Yeah.
didn't do sports because it was too terrifying.
Uh huh.
I was in plays.
Oh.
So because going up on stage is different, you're just somebody else.
Yeah, for sure.
So I did that, and that was about it.
I love that. I wish I was way too self-conscious. So I didn't go out and do that. I was like blend in with the sports crowd or blend in with, you know what I mean?
See, I was too self-conscious to try out for sports.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, my cousins, the Gaffneys, were into cross country. I think Jordan was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I were to do any sport, it would have been probably track and field.
Really?
Yeah.
Because it's an individual thing, or.
Yeah, and I think I probably would have been pretty good at it, but I was too terrified to try.
Mm-hmm. Jeez. All right. We'll finish up. We'll talk a little bit more about Harvestly and kind of the impact that it's had on your farm. But I mean, from what you've described, it's gone from like 0 to 100
Yeah.
pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And were you guys prepared for that? Was that the goal? Like what? Because that's obviously changed the income,
Mm-hmm.
right? To your family. I mean, you're
Yeah.
putting more into it now,
Yeah.
right? But like, was this the goal for you?
This is the goal.
Mhm.
So we didn't know it would happen so quickly because, like I said, we were caregivers for my husband's grandmother. She passed away in January.
Okay.
So that was our main thing.
Mhm.
And you can't predict when something like that's going to happen, obviously.
Yeah.
So when she passed away, we were automatically thrown into the farming because we're like, okay, this is it. Like, this is our thing.
Yeah.
It's like, we have to make it work.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Wow. Okay. And what did your husband do before?
He has his master's of divinity and he was going to be a pastor.
Oh, awesome. Okay. So,
And then like total switcheroo. He was like book guy,
Yeah.
reading all day,
Yeah.
and now he's outside working all day.
Okay. I picture him, and I don't know what he looks like. Gruff kind of beard, super skinny, just like walking around eating a
I mean,
radish.
he's Italian,
like,
Swiss Italian.
having like some like super organic coffee going. Like, is that the guy?
Like minus the beard,
Okay.
and he's usually pretty clean cut.
Uh-huh.
He played sports, football, and whatnot,
Okay.
and he looks like your typical like Swiss Italian guy.
Oh,
He loves coffee.
I love it. Yeah, I mean, masters in divinity, like those
Yeah.
guys, like that's a breeding ground for coffee lovers, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
So
Yeah.
were you guys planning on moving out of the area for him to be a pastor somewhere, or?
Oh, we had so many different plans.
Yeah.
But plans change, and this is where there was a need that came, which was to take care of grandma.
Mm-hmm.
He stepped into that, filled
Yeah.
those shoes, moved her in with us.
Wow.
And so we just totally switched gears.
So are you guys currently worshiping anywhere on a weekly basis?
When we do go, we usually go to Covenant Presbyterian in Paso Robles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm at First Presbyterian in Templeton.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I like
Yeah.
to, hopefully nobody's watching from there. I like to say the average age of the congregation there is dead.
Yeah.
But that's just an inside joke. We have a lot of great young families and a lot of people that have been there for a
Yes.
long time.
Yes. The Littles. Wait.
Charlie Little
Yeah.
is the pastor. Yeah, he's retiring at the end of June.
Oh.
And so we have our incoming pastoral candidate who's doing the sermon this Sunday. So all eyes are going to be on him.
Yeah.
It's
It's a lot of pressure.
totally, yeah. But Charlie's become a dear friend of mine and mentor over the last 3-4 years that we've been going there. And so, super awesome congregation. And it's a lot. My wife's a deacon, which is hilarious
Wow.
because she's like the most selfless person I've ever met, but she hates being like in the spotlight and so now she's got to like pick up the phone and call people and like check on them. That's out of her comfort zone, but she's killing it. So,
Good for her.
all right. So Harvestly has been amazing.
Yes.
You love it.
Mhm.
They're good people.
Yep.
Okay. And then you and Matt, is there some type of support group for vendors that Harvestly is providing or,
It's funny. I actually created one.
did you really?
I did on Facebook last year, and I didn't really manage it well because I realized I needed to be Facebook friends with the individual people,
Oh yeah.
and I'm not,
Yeah.
other than very few of them. So I might try to create another one. We kind of have one going on Instagram.
Oh.
Harvestly's kind of created too. So
Cool.
yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah. So what do you guys think? Matt, you want to come on in and we can round out the show and land the plane? Oh, I didn't mean to kick you out. You guys can share.
I
Yeah, go
feel
for
like
it.
we're singing a duet.
No, there you go. I
Hey,
got volume on both of you guys now.
Okay, cool.
Wow. Okay.
Well, I will say that GABA has been a huge help, kind of guiding us along, just because it's all new, right? And so the biggest hurdle is just taking that first step. And she's been great at going, you're not going to screw up. She's actually been wonderful. She was one of our first customers actually on Harvestly. So I turned to her to kind of get customer feedback, and she was awesome in that. So no, I appreciate her coming in and talking about what she does. So.
And had you heard of Irish Oaks before that?
You know what? I heard of them because I'm just active on a lot of groups on Facebook, and I think I heard about his son.
Okay, Aiden,
Actually,
yeah.
And everyone was advertising the soap and all
Mhm.
that. So
The soap's amazing, right?
Oh, and then the soap is amazing.
Yeah.
We bought some, and the lotion. But
Yeah.
then he messaged me and about buying our farm boxes, and I didn't realize who he was at the time.
Mhm.
And then he got in contact with my husband. I was like, oh, we totally talked, and I didn't put two and two together.
Oh, funny.
Yeah.
Matt, contrary to what you might think, you are good at what you're doing. Like, you and Melissa, I think we're like meant to do this because Melissa is just go, go, go.
So Melissa's definitely the workhorse of it. I had the passion for ag. I was, as you know, I was the FFA president in El
Nerd
Paso.
alert. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, exactly. Total nerd.
No.
I still wear my corduroy jacket around. It's pretty
No.
cool. But no, this is my passion. And as you look around the shop, I mean, those pictures up on the wall are from my family at the turn of the century farming. So
Yeah.
it was what I was meant to do, and I love it. And I love the relationships that are built through it.
Sure. No, I'm super jealous, envious of you guys for going out and creating, like literally, you guys are creating something from you, right? And giving it to the rest of the world, and that's a special thing, and that's like legacy building stuff. So
Well,
congratulations.
and it is, yeah. And I think GABA can probably attest to this, that it's for the children too, right? Kids are learning on the farm. What our kids are learning through business
Yeah.
is going to carry them through life, and so
Yeah,
it's great.
You're definitely setting an example.
But yeah,
right?
getting our kids outside,
Mhm.
especially during the pandemic when they're supposed to be inside on their computers.
Right.
It's so important to get them outside, getting that sunshine
Yeah.
and that exercise in.
I love it.
So
So cool. All right. So if we want to go shop at Grandpa Rossi's garden, we can go to harvestly.co. You can follow them on Instagram. Let me see here. It's just IG.
Yeah.
Rossi's.
Paparazzi's garden, yeah. We went with garden, and here's why. Vincent Rossi, who actually built our house, my husband's great grandpa, had a tomato garden up on that hill where we live. And we never really like to call ourselves farmers. We don't have a tractor, you know.
Yeah.
We are more like gardeners, and we only have chickens, you know.
Yeah.
So we decided to go with Grandpa Rossi's garden. It seemed fitting, a really good tribute to Vincent Rossi and his garden.
That's
That kind
cool.
of started the whole thing. And my husband's dad also has a garden on that property, and
Oh.
he's really been like the backbone to helping us, you know, rooting us on too.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on the success with Grandpa Rossi's garden, and good job parenting. Like for sure, like that's awesome what you guys are doing, both of you guys. This is yeah. I mean, it's a weird time to be alive, but it's also an amazing time to be alive because we've got resources to be able to take your stuff that you're growing and giving it out to others. And the same with you. Like, I mean, you guys are able to put your products on the market, like really with little to no investment, other
Yeah.
than the money and sweat that it takes to create the product.
Right.
Like that's awesome.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. I mean, it can be started with just a garden plant
Mhm.
and teach a kid how to do it, and that's where their food comes. I mean, that's the most important thing, is that reliance, you know, that you can provide for yourself. So
It is knowing where your food comes from. A lot of people don't.
Right? I know. It's scary.
It is scary.
I've been listening to a lot of podcasts lately about just, you know, health and whatnot, but the fact that the human mind's funny, right? We can go into a grocery store and we can see prepackaged meat that's packaged nicely and pretty, and we don't think twice about it. But if we see like a cow halved hanging, we freak out,
Mhm.
right? But then we walk by the fish and we see a whole fish there, and we're okay. Like it just
Yeah.
makes no sense. But
Yeah.
but what we've done to mass produced food and gotten it to a spot where we're just kind of desensitized by it, thinking about where it comes from and all, it's just really weird, right? To think
Yes.
about. So
Yeah, knowing where our beef comes from, I've purchased from them. I buy our chicken from a local chicken
Mhm.
farmer, B-Wench, out in Shandon. I can't buy meat from the grocery store anymore.
Yeah.
I need to know where it's come from, how it was raised, and everything, and that's very important to me.
yeah.
So
when you truly can taste the difference, I'm sure
you can
it's
definitely
like
taste the difference.
there's something different about homegrown
Yeah.
and locally processed versus the
Yeah.
whole commercial thing.
Oh yeah.
It just kind of questions what's going into mainstream food. So
Well, cool. So the goal is to sell the garden for millions of dollars, or is it to just kind of create a sustainable lifestyle? And
Yeah, create a sustainable lifestyle, and it's going to be in the family forever. So
Cool.
I hope our kids really like gardening and farming, and their kids.
or at least their spouses at some
Exactly.
point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. And what about the goal for Irish Oaks?
yeah, we have offers out to Amazon, right? No, I'm just joking.
Yeah.
No,
Matt's
obviously,
like, I'm going on a book tour in 3 years. I'll be done with this.
no, obviously we're limited on growth on the Central Coast as far as our rangeland goes. We do have some access to the Central Valley. Not that I want to really go over there
Yeah.
to ranch, but I think long term we're definitely staying on the Central Coast. But there may be something out of state, so we can kind of grow, like you said, the legacy for
Sure.
our kids. So we enjoy what we're doing.
Cool. Well, thanks guys for being here today. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Matt, for
No,
roping me in here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hope to do this. It's always crazy working with Mike because you never know what the schedule's going to be.
Never,
So,
never. Yeah.
but I like having it here.
This is
because-
awesome.
This
Yeah.
is really
Somebody said this is the best live remote we've done so
it has
far.
a nice ambiance. And
It's great. Yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah,
So,
that old truck thing kind of makes it right there.
And this, everything you see in this picture is for sale, by the way. That's how Matt rolls. Anthony, real quick before we sign off, is there anything in and around the county that we need to know about? Any news?
Not really news-wise. Well, I guess it kind of is. Something that really didn't get publicized overnight was the fact that Paul Flores and Ruben Flores were back in court yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of people don't know about that, but and that's probably because it went like probably 5 minutes and they were done. And that was just them establishing another court date,
Right.
which is June 21st. Don't know which day that is, but it's in the next coming couple months or month and a half now.
Okay.
And so so it's heading towards a 12-day trial, from what it sounds like, and just much over that. Not much was talked about. They just kind of established that court date
Sure.
for the 21st of June.
Okay.
And so do you want to talk about the
Nah,
the-
enough bad news.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
we don't need,
All right.
we don't need to go there. They can tune into anywhere else to learn more
yeah,
about that stuff.
So, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks for joining us on the Tuesday, May 18th edition of the Morning Buzz. We've done it. We're 10 and a half weeks into the show, and every day's been different. I love it. So I'm just continuously humbled and amazed by all of the freaking smart, awesome people in our community. It's just so cool. So Gaba, again, your name is fantastic. I love it. So great to meet you, and thanks for being a part of it. Matt, thanks for hosting this wonderful place. I'm going to take the camera and just walk around with the wireless mic and give a tour of this before we officially sign off. So let's do this. And let me put some background music on while I do that. Can I do that? Let's see here. All right. So those of you who are just waiting for me to take this camera and go around, this segment's for you. Check 1, 2. There we go. So what I'm doing now is walking around the school, just with the idea of the Irish Ozarks. This is kind of a counter area. This is where we were sitting. You can see the lighting. This is like the behind the scenes stuff. All right, so back over here is where David and Emma do all their product making. You can see we've got a ton of beans here. This is kind of this crazy truck. These are all soaps. Everything's basically produced here in the school. They've got a wide variety of things. There's all the soaps. You guys have everything that you see here that they sell is kind of local arts and music. Science, products, There it is. That's the story. Great rest of the day. Remember today, use the sunshine as a natural stimulant. Go out and soak it up. All right, be well, everyone. We will talk to you later. I'll figure out how to sign off this thing. I'll turn this guy off. End the stream. There we go. All right, see you guys.